We always beat the competition.
And the tailgaters are out in full force. This afternoon, Old Dominion is set to begin a new chapter. This afternoon, we welcome you to Foreman Field at SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia, the home of the Monarchs of Old Dominion. As we raise the curtain on a brand new college football season, the Monarchs play host to the Pirates of Hampton. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Gleason. It's great to have you with us while Old Dominion makes its maiden voyage as a member of Conference USA. This is also the inaugural season for the American Sports Network. We'll have over 50 college football games from various leagues around the country. And obviously, college football is on the minds of most sports fans right now. But the American Sports Network will also televise hundreds of other events in soccer, basketball, baseball, you name it, the American Sports Network will have it. So, if you're an avid college sports fan, the American Sports Network is the newest guy on the block. And it's my privilege to bring in my broadcast partner, Hall of Fame coach Jim Donnan. And, Coach, this broadcast going to 65 television markets, over 40 million homes, and our viewers this afternoon with a chance to see one of the most successful quarterbacks in the entire country.
No question about it, Mike. Taylor Heineke's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's got tremendous stats. He understands Coach Bobby Wilder's offense. He knows how to run the show. And we're going to see a lot today about how this guy can orchestrate a tremendous offense. He does a real good job of his touch passes. He's got a big arm. He runs the zone read extremely well. And there's not many guys in the country coming back with 12,000 yards of total offense. And he's going against a new coach today, Mike, and Connell Maynor, who's one of the outstanding young coaches in the country.
Well, that's a great point, Jim, because we talk about the Old Dominion offense. Well, Connell Maynor, he had a lot of success as the head coach at Winston-Salem State. He was 29-2 in conference play, 45-6 overall. And Connell Maynor has won the toss. They've elected to receive. And the kick is taken at the 5-yard line by Washington. He's up over the 15 and hit hard at about the 19-yard line. So that's where the Pirates will open up this ball game and open up the 2014 season. And, Coach, they have a couple of quarterbacks on that team. J.J. Williamson, Jalen Williamson, and Brian Bailey, both sophomores, and 50-50 as far as Connell Maynor said as far as who's going to play, but it looks like we're going to see number 12, J.J. Williamson, getting the start.
Well, he gets the first start, and he looks like he's very comfortable running this offense, and I think Connell Maynor feels like he's the guy that's going to direct the club starting out the game.
First play from scrimmage for the 2014 season for the Pirates. Williamson wants to go upstairs, has his man. That's Twan Mixon. Mixon averaged 18.5 yards a catch last year, which was number 1 on the team. Picked up about 5.5 yards, so it'll be a second and about 5 yards to go for the Pirates. Old Dominion, this is the only FCS team they will play this year. The rest will be FBS games. Last year they were undefeated against the FCS teams. Here's a little swing outside, and it's complete up over the 25-yard line. Again, it's Washington, Jorian Washington. He had 32 catches last year. That's his first one this season.
Well, what they want to do with Washington's get him in space. He's a good kick returner. Looks like we might have a guy down here, but a very good start for Williamson coming out, throwing some short routes, trying to get established. What a tremendous crowd we got here today. 36 straight sellout game for Old Dominion.
Fantastic way to lift the curtain on the 2014 season. Obviously, Old Dominion averaging 42 points a game last year. Offensively, the spotlight is on this defense and Rich Nagy right now. So we're going to take a... Third down and 2, the first third down situation the Pirates faced this year. They were just 28% last year. They keep it on the ground, and it's Washington. Washington up over the 35-yard line, and the first down for Hampton.
Really good play call there, running a little sprint draw action. They've been throwing the ball short, and then they get this kid in space. It's obvious he's got some great quickness.
So that revamped defense for Old Dominion last year, they gave up 48% on third down conversions. And so far, Hampton converts the first. So it's 1st and 10. The ball just over the 35-yard line at the 36. First drive of the game for the Pirates. Again, Washington. Boy, he is hit. And DJ Simon, the middle linebacker, came in and he hit him hard.
We're going to see throughout the game Hampton try to run just enough run to keep this Monarch defense a little bit at home, but in that situation, man, that's just a really good feel in the inside gap.
And that's the kind of defense that Rich Nagy's looking for, right, Coach?
It really is. He got some good young players here, and they look like they're very aggressive.
Loss of 2 on the play, so it's 2nd and 12. Ball on the 35. Play action. Williamson. He's harassed, stays on his feet, dropped at the 34-yard line. And making the initial stop there is Chris Smith, the nose tackle. And it's going to bring up another 3rd down and about 13 yards to go.
We talked to Rich Nagy, defensive coordinator, yesterday about everybody just running their position and doing exactly staying at home. And a very good job by the defense that time, particularly Everett, making the quarterback step up inside and a good stop for him. Now we can see what kind of pass rush they can muster.
3rd and 13 for the Pirates. Washington and Hampton both in the backfield, along with J.J. Williamson, the sophomore from Oscar Smith High School in nearby Chesapeake. Williamson wants to go deep and looking downfield, and this one's almost picked off. The intended receiver was Rashawn Proctor, the sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, but that'll bring up a punting situation for Hampton.
Well, this is what Coach Maynard really wanted to stay out of, the 3rd and long, and we get into a deal where they throw the deep ball, and it just was very fortunate for Maynard and their team that wasn't intercepted. It wouldn't have been too bad, though, kind of like a punt, but a good first series overall. They made 1 first down, and they get the jitters out of the way. And,
Coach, speaking of punts, Christian Faber-Kinney, just a sophomore, last year as a freshman averaged just under 42 yards a kick.
If there's one edge in this game for Hampton is the fact they've got a good kicking game. That wasn't too great, but little nerves there. But they got a great kicker. Prevost is an outstanding field goal kicker, too.
Antonio Vaughn was the deep man, didn't get a chance to touch the ball. And for Old Dominion, their first possession will start at about the 34-yard line. Mike Leach and Jim Donnan back at Old Dominion, and Coach, everybody's looking for a quarterback, and there's a young man with some very impressive numbers.
You know, I can't wait to watch him. All the tape I've seen, and it's going to be hard to live up to his past 3 years. Look at these stats. I mean, anybody like to have that for a career, and just a fine young man, too. And he's from Collins Hill High School right there near Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from.
And the first play, they're going to keep it on the ground, and it's going to be a 1st down. As they go with Vincent Lowe, who's listed as a wideout, but Vincent, actually, the freshman, got to carry the ball for the first time.
Hey, these guys run a speed offense. You better be ready.
Heineke from the gun again. And again, they keep it on the ground. This one up over the 45-yard line. In the backfield, they have Gerard Johnson, Cam Boyd, and Ray Lowry, a true freshman, listed. Johnson with the carry. He had 5 touchdowns last year, and the longest run in school history at 81, but unfortunately that came against North Carolina. We'll talk more about that game when the defense is on the field. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Heineke feeling the pressure, and he's going down. Hayden Gregory, the middle linebacker, getting in, making the initial stop there.
Well, that's one thing you got to have from Coach Phillips and his defense, some vertical pressure on Taylor Heineke, and that's what they got right there. And got to be a boost for this defense to be out there 3rd and 20.
Even with the quick throws, Heineke was sacked 21 times last year, 3rd and 18. Now the ball at the 38-yard line. Twin receivers to the bottom of your screen. Heineke looking near side, fires, and has his man up over the 50-yard line, down inside the 45. And that one's complete to Nick England, old high school buddy back in Atlanta.
Well, they ran that in the parking lot back there at Collins Hill High School, a great square-in route, and picked up the first down.
As they move inside Pirate territory for the first time, ball on the 43-yard line. Twins, top of the screen. Twins to the bottom of your screen now. Heineke comes near side. Again, it's his old high school buddy, Nick England. He had 4 catches in the spring game for 69 yards.
Well, just presence of mind back Heineke there. He looked off the defense, took what the defense gives him. And this kid is very poised, and it's like having a coach out on the field. You better be in your position on defense because he's going to find the weak spots.
Heineke, the first quarterback in the state of Virginia to pass for over 10,000 yards. After this play, I'll mention a couple of other names on that list to give you a barometer of how impressive this young man has been. 2nd and 3, going deep. Down the sidelines, Antonio Vaughn was there, but he dropped it as he rolled into the end zone.
Vaughn's the leading receiver coming back. They got some new guys, but Vaughn can go deep. A very good job again of looking off the defense and hanging it up there. Underthrew it just a little bit, but when you can throw the ball in the intermediate zones like Taylor Heineke can, then that sets up the long balls. And, you know, that's a good waist down, 2nd and 3. Good call by Brian Scott.
3rd and 3 now. 47% last year on 3rd down conversions. And Bobby Wilder, the head coach, he loves to go on 4th down as well. This is the starting tailback, Gerard Johnson, and Johnson moving the chains down to the 30-yard line. First possession of the ball game, first possession of the season for the Monarchs of Old Dominion. Coached 31 times last year. They had scoring drives under 2 minutes. Heineke. Boy, does a nice job of looking off his receivers. This one's complete to England again. So Nick England, the transfer from Florida International, with 3 catches already.
Yeah, England hadn't seen him in such a long time. He wanted to welcome him back to Monarch football, a transfer. But they're really laying off and giving him a soft cushion, and he's just taking what the defense gives him. Very good job again to stepping up in the pocket and letting it go.
And again, Heineke moving the chains. Another first down. Grinding out some yardage inside the 20 near the 15. It's Johnson again.
What this offense does, Glee, is they really put a lot of pressure on the perimeter because their receivers take ultra-wide splits, a lot like Baylor did last year, and it really puts a lot of emphasis on whether the defense can stop the run because the receivers are split so wide, you really can't double cover them.
Johnson out of the ballgame. Cam Boyd, the senior from West Hills Community College, in the backfield now with Heineke, but he wants to throw it again. And again, it's Nick England on the receiving end at about the 15-yard line. I was talking with Heineke yesterday about, is there really chemistry or is it the system? And, well, apparently he has pretty good chemistry with number 7, Nick England.
He looks like he's been throwing to him his whole life, which he has. They played together in high school, and really good read there.
Boyd up the middle for the touchdown. Second play that Boyd got into the ball game. And Cam Boyd, the senior from California, gets the first touchdown for the Monarchs this year.
Just a systematic drive there, particularly picking up the 3rd and 18. It's kind of demoralizing to Coach Phillips' defense because they got him in a long yardage situation. Then after that, he just picked them apart all the way down the field.
And Ricky Seeger's on for the extra points. Seeger's a redshirt sophomore after Jared Brown, the all-time leading scorer, graduated last year and splits the uprights. And the first drive of the season goes for 7 for the Monarchs.
Well, they're running the inside read, and it does a really good job of just splitting the defense. Tommy Kramer.
Well, back at Old Dominion, first drive of the 2014 season goes 66 yards in 11 plays. And Coach Donnan, well, Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator, has to be pleased.
Yeah, he really does. Here's a guy who's in great demand last year. Louisiana Tech came after him, and Dr. Wood-Selig, the athletic director, made a big commitment to him, and I'm sure Coach Wilder's glad to have him back calling the shots again.
Seegers with the kick, and this time Twan Mixon takes it. He's up over the 20-yard line, and he leaps up to about the 25. Nice return by Twan Mixon, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina.
One of the things every coach really looks hard at the first game is special teams, because you hadn't had a chance to really go live against a good football team. You know, you're very worried about the injuries and everything. So we're going to see some missed tackles today. We're going to see some missed assignments. But so far, the special teams have been pretty solid. Nothing really easy on the returns, and two well-coached teams, well prepared.
You see that Old Dominion defense lining up. They gave up 34 points last year per game. They did have 8 picks. 7 of those 8 picks are back. Second series now for the Pirates of Hampton. They start at the 35, or 25 rather. And Washington's going to get up over the 26, close to the 27-yard line of the first carry. Jorian Washington out of L.A. Dorsey High School out there. Only had about 700 yards rushing last year, but he averaged almost about 6.5 yards per carry.
Well, he's a multi-purpose back. He's the guy that catch the ball out of the backfield. He's strong enough to run inside, very fast outside, and he can return kicks. So he's going to get a big dose of getting the football to him today.
J.J. Williamson under center, 2nd and 8. Rolls to his left, and he finds his man up over the 35-yard line, and that's complete to Rashad Riddick, a sophomore from Portsmouth, Virginia.
Well, that's an outstanding call by Connell Maynor. He moves the pocket here. Really good job by the left-hand side, sealing, turn-back protection, sprinting on the edge, and lays it right in there. A very good call and great execution.
You mentioned Coach Maynor. 4 years at Winston-Salem State, 45-6 record, 3 straight CIAA championships, 3 straight trips to the NCAA Division II playoffs. Little delay, and the defense sniffed that one out. It's going to be a loss of 1 on the play. And as a defensive coordinator, that's what you like to see, a lot of blue jerseys around the ball.
Well, Coach Rick Chinagy really worked hard during spring practice and throughout the fall, trying to control the inside gaps and really fitting their defense and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. Going to play a lot of players today, try to get them as many reps as each young guy can get. And this defense right now looks very well prepared today.
Ball on the 36, 2nd down, 11 yards to go. Washington and Hampton in the backfield with Williamson. Rolls right, finds his man up over the 40, and that's Rashawn Proctor. That's his first catch of the afternoon. Proctor last year, as a true freshman, averaged just under 10 yards a game and 9 catches. Another 3rd down situation for the Pirates coming up right here, Coach.
You know, they've gone to the draw on short yardage. This is 3rd and medium, and they've sprinted, trying to put Williamson on the corner, and he's completed the last 2. Let's see if they can hold up against Everett coming off the edge. 91's an outstanding pass rusher.
Williamson over the middle, and this one's complete, and it's inside Monarch territory up over the 50, as Proctor again on the receiving end of that one.
A lot of poise there shown by Williamson. He continues to do what's necessary running the show. He's been well coached by a guy that was a great quarterback in college. You actually had him for a game in the Arena League, right?
Well, that's right. A few games back in the late 90s when I used to do arena football with Merrill Hodge. Matter of fact, he won the championship in 2000. He was a pretty good quarterback himself. They're going to try the sweep with Mixon, and nowhere to go. Beautiful job of sniffing that out. Is number 94, Scott Wiggins, a sophomore from Fork Union Military Academy. There was a flag on the field. Steve Barth, our referee this afternoon. And the hold goes against Nigel Cawthon, the left tackle for the Pirates.
You know, it's hard to turn down a 10-yard penalty. They had about a 3 or 4 yard loss, but I think what Coach Wilder, Coach Nagy trying to do here is get this defense where they can pin their ears back, have Everett coming off the edge. And, you know, one of the things that's going to be really important here today is no easy picks for this Hampton team. They got to take care of the ball and make the Monarchs go a long way. And now they're in a long yardage situation. They got to take care of the football and try to make this first down.
1st and 20 from the 41. Williamson. Mixon again, and he's wrestled down by the cornerback, Eric Lewis, on top of your screen.
You know, for the fans out there watching, this is a really brilliantly called game to this point by Coach Maynard from the standpoint he's giving this kid a chance to launch the ball. He's put him on the perimeter, sprinting him out. He's dropped him back quick. He's run play action, and that's all you can do. Here's a little flare screen.
And this one sniffed out again. Richie Staten, the sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, the backup linebacker. I say backup linebacker, but Rich Nagy said it's probably going to be a 50-50 thing as far as rotations.
Yeah, Coach Wilder's saying they're going to play between 55 and 60 players a day, so you got to be on your toes on these numbers.
And I stand corrected. The last tackle before that one, but by the cornerback was Javon Neal, the senior from Austin, Texas. Looks like Rich Nagy's either rotating the corners or Neal's is finding his receiver. 3rd and 15. Decent protection. He has his man inside the 35-yard line. And it's complete to Rashad Riddick. And the sophomore stumbles inside the 35. A big gain for the Pirates.
Well, here we go with a little play action to slow him down a little bit. He looks to the left and then throws back to the right. An outstanding pickup there. They had 1st and 20, and now they're inside the red zone here. Not quite in the red zone, but obviously they're in 4-down territory. And let's see if they go to any kind of misdirection here to slow down that front.
So J.J. Williamson, we talked with Connell Maynard. Williamson or Bailey, he said both are equally talented. No one stands out over the other one. But the quarterback who breaks camp, who makes the best decisions, and right now that's Williamson, and he's got his Pirates on the move. Nice job of avoiding pressure, and it's almost picked off by Phil Paulhill.
Well, about 3 plays ago, they ran the fly sweep into the boundary. This time they tried it to the field, and then he kept the ball and tried to hit the crossing route. A little bit of miscommunication with the quarterback and the receiver. Williamson was a little bit behind him on that route.
Monarchs lead it 7-0, first quarter, 2:50 remaining in the first 15 minutes of play here. Bobby Wilder in his 8th year coaching, 6th on the field as he built this program from scratch. 46-14, undefeated last year at 6-0 at home. Williamson, play action. Mixon inside the 30-yard line. He's hit just shy of the 25. And again, number 22, Javon Neal, the senior, coming up to make the stop.
That's a tremendous job by Javon Neal. They throw a little hitch screen out there to help the protection a little bit. They're getting rid of the ball quickly. They're trying to get it to the edge. The biggest play, obviously, of the game right now with a 3rd and 4.
So another 3rd down situation for the Pirates. A big stop right here for the Monarch defense if they can pull it off. Twin receivers to the bottom of your screen. And they keep it on the ground, and it's successful. They're going to move the chains inside the 20-yard line. That's Christopher Dukes, the junior from Mobile, Alabama, getting his first carry.
Well, Dukes did a really good job of setting up his blocks there. He really sets himself up, cuts back against the grain, knows where the marks are, and picks up the first down. Just some really good play calling here by the staff. Hampton's getting after the Monarchs right now, mixing it up with the draws, the screens, the sprint outs, a lot of different actions.
Second possession of the ball game for Hampton. Old Dominion went 66 yards on 11 plays on their first possession to take the 7-0 lead. And again, it's Dukes. The pitch, left side, cuts it back, and he's driven out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
Well, I can promise you one thing right now, Mike. They're running everything in the history of football. They came out with a speed option that time. And Coach Nagy's going to have to make some adjustments here because this quarterback is pretty good at running about anything you want to. He sprints out fairly well. He does a pretty good job of just setting up. But that time, he just waited to the last second, dished it off. Big pickup on first down. Anytime you're inside the red zone, you get 5 or 6 yards. That's a big plus.
16 on the two deep, either freshmen or sophomores for Hampton. 10 at the so-called skill positions. Keep it on the ground again, and it's Dukes, and he is met immediately behind the line of scrimmage. And again, it's DJ Simon.
Well, DJ Simon just feels right inside the A gap and just meets him right in the hole. This misdirection offense is not working too good because they can't get the movement up front. I think they got to keep attacking the perimeter and run the quarterback Williamson on some sprint outs. We might see some kind of quarterback draw right here. First time in the game they've gone to an empty set, Mike.
3rd and 7 from the 17. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Williamson fires. No penalty flag dropped. Good coverage there in the end zone.
This Williamson kid did a really good job of his voice inflection there. We've got such a big crowd here, it's hard to hear it, but they got the Monarchs offside right there. He's having one of those Peyton Manning drives. I mean, he's in tremendous control. If that other kid's as good as he is, I promise you one thing, they got 2 good quarterbacks. But the thing that's really been impressive here is the variety of things that this young man's doing directing this attack.
Yeah, Williamson only 56% last year as a true freshman, but he looks very poised out here this afternoon.
It's a big game for Hampton. This is their area. You know, a lot of these kids will never play in front of this many people again in their lives, and they've been looking forward to this all year.
Play action, Williamson throws it, and it's complete down near the 5-yard line. And actually doing a nice job was Marcus Hampton to go back and kind of catch that ball by his knees.
Well, Marcus is a big body. You know, he weighs about 220. He comes out of the backfield, and they lined up in the eye and faked the run, and the linebackers dropped up inside to stop the run. Another good call. I got to be careful about giving too much love here because I'm going to waste it all. But let me tell you, this is just an outstanding march. A lot of movement, a lot of different things they're doing. And now let's see if they can punch it in.
Well, we've played 15 minutes of college football here at Old Dominion. The Monarchs with a 7-0 lead, but the Pirates are on the move on their second possession. When we come back, the Monarchs will be trying to defend their turf as the Pirates will be knocking on the door here in the 2014 opener.
You are watching the American.
Along with former Marshall and Georgia head coach Jim Donnan, I'm Mike Gleason as we move into the second quarter. Old Dominion on top of the Pirates of Hampton, 7-0, second possession coach. And we mentioned that Old Dominion averaged about 42 points a game last year, but Hampton, a good way to keep them off the scoreboard is keep that offense off the field. They got a nice drive going here.
Exactly right. 5 out of 6 on third down. They've had the ball for 11 minutes and 20 seconds. That really has been the difference for them. Keep Heineke on the sideline.
16th play of the drive coming up right here. And the ball rests on the 7-yard line. Eric Carter in the backfield. Carter gets the call. Hits the left side, and he's wrestled down again by the middle linebacker, number 42. That's DJ Simon. Which is interesting because he was not the starter when they broke spring ball, and Simon won the job during camp.
Well, they've had a very competitive fall camp. A lot of junior college kids came in, got their feet wet, got involved in the weight program, got involved in the summer running program, and really have given them a lot of depth here. And you're going to need depth to play in the Conference USA.
Second and goal. Again, Carter, the true freshman from Fayetteville in the backfield, but Williamson wants to throw it. He's pressured. Hampton is there for the touchdown, and we have a 7-6 ball game. Marcus Hampton, the sophomore from Williamstown, New Jersey. 4 touchdowns last year. That's his first in 2014.
Well, they ran this to the weak side earlier on this drive on 3rd and 2. Now 2nd and 5. They run the sprint draw, and Hampton just kind of falls out, little false block, turns his body and catches it. And a great job of getting rid of the ball by Williamson. It really had a lot of pressure on him. That's just an all-world drive right there. I mean, keep the ball, make first downs, and then finish it off.
Anthony Prevost, the preseason first-team pick in the MEAC, finishes off the drive with the extra point, which proves to be the equalizer. With 14-13 to go before halftime, we have a 7-7 ball game here. When we come back, it'll be the second possession of the Monarchs. One possession in the first quarter. That's unbelievable. Season opener for both Hampton and Old Dominion, tied up at 7-7. Played 15 minutes, Coach, and this Old Dominion offense had just one series so far.
Well, I think without question, we got everybody in the stadium's attention and the fans out there watching on the American Sports Network. Everybody's expecting a blowout, talking about Taylor Heineke and his ability to move the football. But I promise you one thing, we've seen a tremendous game plan by Coach Maynard. Williamson's come in and executed it, and these guys are in for a fist fight here. They better get going.
17-play drive for Hampton. And Marcus Hampton gets the touchdown. And the sophomore Williamson gets his first touchdown pass of the season. Prevost ready to kick off. And it's going to be Cam Boyd a yard deep in the end zone. Boyd up over the 15. He's hit, and he's wrapped up at about the 18-yard line. So the Monarchs' second drive will start shy of the 20. The Monarchs of Old Dominion winning the Colonial Athletic Association in 2012. 2 straight trips into the FCS playoffs, or back in the day, the 1AA playoffs, which I guess is dated now, but still has a good ring to it. So Taylor Heineke goes back to work. Heineke, play action. Nice execution up over the 20 to about the 23. And
Hampton's started out the game and still doing the same thing, mixing up their coverages. That time they came out and walked their defensive backs right up in the faces of this Monarch offense. And let's see if he goes deep. Now they're backing off a little bit.
Last catch by Melvin Vaughn, one of 10 receivers that Bobby Wilder and Coach Scott said they will use. Heineke with the play action, kept the ball, but good read that time by the Hampton defense, and he's wrapped up at about the line of scrimmage.
Coach Scott told us they were going to try to do a little bit with the plays that had a run or pass type blocking scheme with it, with the idea that even when they pass the ball, they're going to be run blocking, and that was the case of just missing the guy cold.
Right after this point. Third down and 6. Heineke from the gun. Plenty of time. Fires downfield. Pascal at the 40-yard line. And that is a big, big gainer for the Monarchs. Zach Pascal, 41 catches last year. That's his first year this afternoon.
Yeah, he's a guy that can come over the middle. He caught 6 touchdown passes last year. Great protection up front by the Monarch front. And Pascal made sure he got enough yardage for the first down.
Second series for the Monarchs, and Heineke has them on the move again. Up over the 45-yard line, Cam Boyd gets the call. Follow ASN on Twitter at #live on ASN to catch unique game day perspectives on Twitter. Mike Gleason, Jim Donnan, great to have you with us here on the American Sports Network. One of 50-plus college football games the American Sports Network will bring to you here in 2014. Heineke going deep, and he overshoots his man, the intended receiver, Zach Pascal.
There was a case where I don't think Zach Pascal was on the same page as Taylor Heineke. I mean, he didn't even find the ball till it was past him. I think he was it looked like he was just clearing out there on that play. But he certainly had him beat.
Old Dominion facing a 3rd and 6, the ball on the 47-yard line. First drive went 11 plays, 66 yards for the touchdown. Johnson in the backfield with Heineke. Plenty of time, and he finds his man. It's dropped at the 45. It would have been a first down. Boy, he had all day to throw that one, Coach.
Yeah, here's the first time we've seen the linebackers get this much depth. Only a 3-man rush, good protection, and Heineke's not going to force anything. He's forced out to his right and kind of throws it back across his body, but that would have been a big catch there. It was a tough one.
Joe Pulisic back to punt now.
It's one thing you don't see that Old Dominion do much, their punt formation, because they make so many first downs and touchdowns. So let's see if they put any pressure on the punter here.
Jake Walsh was the punter last year. Pulisic gets his first kick. And he's got some good hang time. The fair catch is taken at about the 27, 28-yard line. We're going to take a timeout here from Foreman Field at SB Ballard Stadium. We're deadlocked at 7-7. And here come the Pirates. Off a 17-play drive, they have possession of the football again. 1st and 10 of the 28-yard line, a 7-7 ball game. It's early, Coach, but how surprising is this right now that they've been able to keep Old Dominion off the field?
Well, it's quite a surprise when you hear about what a great offense we've seen from.
There's a penalty flag coming out of commercial. They're dropped at about the 18-yard line. It looked like a delay of game by Hampton.
Yeah, I think it's always tough when you come out of a TV break, and these guys got to get used to looking at this red hat like the producer does. But talking about the game itself, just the fact that Hampton's been able to attack this defense and keep the ball away from them, I knew they'd move the ball, but not that easily.
Washington and Hampton in the backfield with J.J. Williamson. Washington gets the carry, hits the right side. He's wrestled down at about the 23-yard line. Looked like Isaiah Worthy, the freshman out of Westville, New Jersey, making the initial contact, pressed into action today because Martez Simpson, the starting linebacker, is injured.
Yeah, anytime you get a shot like this, you got to come out here and take advantage of it. And a really good job of fitting in. The inside runs they're holding up. They've just got to find some way to stop these perimeter passes and the sprint out type action.
Williamson feeling the pressure, gets rid of the football. There's some bumping going on, and there's a penalty flag dropped at the 45. Well, the Monarchs thought they had good coverage, but a little bit too much physical contact on there.
I think it's probably going to be on the offense here. I always try to take the offensive side because I was an old quarterback, but I think we might have offensive pass interference here.
Well, let's see what Steve Barth has to say. Good call. Good call, Coach. That's Connell Maynor, the head coach in his first game. He was at Fayetteville State as the offensive coordinator. He had 3 more CIAA titles. Now stepping up to the MEAC. They declined the penalty.
3rd down coming up.
Williamson steps up. Nice job of looking off the defenders. He looked left, came back on the right side at the 39-yard line. Good coverage that time by the secondary. Looked like Eric Lewis, the 5th-year senior from Washington, D.C., in coverage.
Well, one of the things we were talking about earlier was the way that this Hampton Pirate team was executing that series right there. They get a delay of game on 1st down. They get offensive pass interference, and now they're in a tough situation. They're going to give Taylor Heineke some really good field position here, and I guarantee you these guys over on this ODU sideline are ready, to chomping at the bit to try to show this stadium full-packed crowd what they can do.
End-over-end kick, and this is Antonio Vaughn at the 32-yard line, and he's going to be wrestled out of bounds and hit at about the 33. Looked like he had plenty of room to return that one, but good coverage that time by the Pirates of Hampton special teams. 10:39 to go before halftime. Monarchs 7, Pirates 7 here in Norfolk.
Conference USA celebrates 20 years.
Back at Old Dominion, 7-7. The Monarchs and the Pirates. Last possession ended in a punt for Taylor Heineke and company. Cam Boyd in the backfield now as Heineke once again opens from the shotgun. Very quick pass outside, and this is Antonio Vaughn. Vaughn up over the 50, still on his feet inside the 40-yard line, and he finally steps out of bounds at about the 35. So another big gainer for Antonio Vaughn. As you mentioned, the leading receiver coming back. 9 touchdowns.
Just a little quick screen out. Very good job on the perimeter by the other receivers. And Vaughn can really show you what he can do once he gets the ball in the open field. A lot of broken tackles, and that's the kind of plays you got to reestablish yourself a little bit. You know, getting rhythm here. They've only had the ball about 12 plays so far, so they need to make some of these type of plays.
Looks like he stepped out of bounds at the 48. Good pressure. And Heineke almost eludes it, but that's Keith McAfee, a junior from Charlotte, getting in to make the tackle defensively for Hampton.
Well, Coach Phillips is basically daring Heineke to keep the ball because, you know, they'd like to get him in the open field and knock him out a little bit, you know, not necessarily get after him too bad, but a very good disguise there. Again, this is a well-coached football team. They know what they're doing. They're trying to give them some different looks. They're walking their secondary around. They're moving their linebackers up and back and trying to confuse Taylor Heineke.
Heineke with 105 yards passing so far last year. Average about 359 a game. 2nd and 11. Heineke steps up, nice pocket right down the middle, looking for the backup quarterback, David Washington. Penalty flag dropped. And they're going to call that against Chaka Dearasuba, a true freshman from Atlanta, Georgia.
Number 25 on the defense. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Very good job of reading the coverage and laying it out there by Heineke. And this is a situation where the free safety is just on an island out there, and he's got to do something to stop it. 15 yards is better than giving up a touchdown. That's one rule I wish they'd change in college football and making this a spot foul instead of a 15-yard penalty, because that was a touchdown without that interference.
See, I think the opposite for the NFL. Good ball game, and make the penalty inside the 5, and they get it inside the 5. It's almost like a gift almost.
You like too much fantasy football.
This is Lowe, the freshman, little bubble screen, and it's sniffed out nicely. Coming over to make the stop on that defensive play.
The fans always ask me all the time, particularly when this play doesn't work, why do you run it? Well, what it does is it slows down the defense a little bit, slows down the pass rush, and gives Heineke a little bit better chance to get his feet set the next time he runs a drop-back pass, because they're always worried about these underneath screens.
Last defense, Owen Obasi, a 270-pound true freshman, around the football. The whistle will call this one dead before Heineke could get it off, as he faced a 2nd and 14. Timeout is called on the field by Hampton with 8:54 to go before halftime. So we're going to take a timeout here in Norfolk, Virginia. 7-7, 2nd and 14. Old Dominion when we come back. Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator now for Old Dominion, watching his team face a 2nd and 14 from the 38-yard line in a 7-7 ball game, which I'm sure if you got him alone after the ball game, he'd admit a little surprising at this juncture. Heineke is going down again. He is thrown down by Joshua Thorne, the junior from Oxon Hill, Maryland. Penalty flag dropped as Thorne put an exclamation point on that sack.
very difficult here to figure out sometime what's legal and what's not. But I think the last part of this just is close to a personal foul as you could have.
Yeah, I think if you talk to Taylor Heineke, Coach, he'd say, hey, they're just playing football.
Yeah, but, you just can't sling a kid to the ground like that. And I think the young man was really trying to do all he could to get after Heineke, and he did a good job. But, there's no room for throwing him to the ground like that. You just got to take him down.
Well, the coaching staff telling us Thorne has a motor that won't quit. And I guess they had to wind him down a little bit on that play.
He was in overdrive right there, I promise you. He was ready to go, and he did a good job of swim move on the edge. And again, I just can't say enough about the preparation that you've seen from Coach Phillips' defense, the fact that they're giving them some good looks. That time they walked up and played man-free safety, man across the board here. Now we're getting a description over on the sideline for what's going on there. The Coach Maynard, he's just complaining to the official. He's saying, hey, he just tackled the guy. But one thing I used to tell our quarterbacks is estimate the defensive intent. What are they doing from how they're lining up? Well, this team's giving you one look, and then when the ball snapped, they're going to another, and they're going to have to start working on their protection a little bit because they're mixing up the rushes and they're getting too Heineke.
Kenny Phillips, the defensive coordinator, spent 13 years at Fayetteville State. He, too, won 3 CIA titles as a head coach. Boyd gets the call, cuts it back inside the 20-yard line. Has to get down near the 12 for the first down. So they'll bring up a second down. The ball's going to be spotted at about the 16. 2nd and 4. Kenny Phillips with 5 freshmen in the 2 deep and the second 4 starters on the defensive side, but he felt pretty good going into this game. This one's complete on the far side. He's wrestled out of bounds. That's Melvin Vaughn, the sophomore. Well, he's a big target, huh? 6'2", 230 pounds.
Really is a big guy to be lined up that wide, and excellent job of pursuit by the Pirate defense. A quick throw out in the flat, and then get out and gang tackle here. Look at a very good job of pushing him out of bounds and contain him for a touchdown, because he could have made that.
Another first down for the Monarchs now. Ball at the 11-yard line. Quick pitch, and again, it's the big target. It's Vaughn out there at the top of your screen. He's wrestled out of bounds.
You just can't rush that kind of throw right there. We saw why Taylor Heineke's such a master catching the ball and getting rid of it. Regardless how you rush, when you catch the ball and throw it in one motion, I don't care if anybody's even rushing you to protect. There's no way you can get to the quarterback like that. Very good job.
Red zone last year, 87% success rate. They can get a first down if they get down to the 1-yard line. It's 2nd and 4. The ball at the 5. Again, there's a quick hitter, and again, it's looking for Vaughn, covered by the freshman Chakadir Suba.
Overall, Diasuba's doing a really good job of matching up with Vaughn, because he's getting right up in his grill there and playing bump and run coverage. Who would have thought here going with 7 minutes to go in the first half that Taylor Heineke wouldn't have had a touchdown pass to this point?
102 in his career. Heineke out of the gun, looking and finding his man. There's a touchdown. Zach Pascal.
Make that 103.
You knew that was coming, huh? You just set me up for that one. So Pascal, the redshirt sophomore, with 6 of those last year. He gets his first year, as does Heineke.
Really good job of setting his feet and laying it out there. They run what we call a smash concept. One receiver comes in and the other one goes out. And he underthrew him a little bit, but there's a good example for a high school kid. When the ball's low, go on down on the ground and trap it. At least you can, if you can out in the field, you'll make a first down. But in the end zone, go down and get it, just like a shortstop.
And Seegers is 2 for 2 in the extra point department as we take another look at the second touchdown of the season for the Monarchs.
Well, he lines up as the inside receiver and makes a good move to the post and then breaks back out to the outside, cradles the ball. Touchdown, Monarchs.
And we talked about Melvin Vaughn going 6'2", 230. Pascal 6'2", 211. So Heineke has some big targets out there. 4 receivers gone from last year, and some of them were kicked off the team for breaking team rules. Larry Pinkert had 68 catches for over 1,000 yards. Heineke didn't seem flustered yesterday, so we've got so many good receivers that doesn't bother me.
Well, he said they were going to play 8 to 10 receivers today. What it gives you, the flexibility, these guys can play in the slot. They can line up outside. But the thing they do so well is they understand the concepts that they're trying to do offensively. They know what their roles are. Sometimes you're not going to get the ball a whole lot for maybe 3 or 4 plays, maybe a whole quarter. We saw England starting out the game get the first 3 catches. Then we haven't seen him get the ball because they started playing more coverage on him. So really good job of mixing it up. And I tell you one thing that's impressive. The defense came out, made the stop, made them punt. The offense came back and delivered, and now they got a 14-7. This is a critical part of the football game for the Hampton Pirates. They got to reestablish their offense.
Seeger's ready to kick it again. Washington and Mixon, the deep backs for the Pirates. 7:03 to go before halftime. It's going to be Washington inside the 5. Jorian Washington tripped up at the 20. And some good special teams play that time. It looked like Eric Lewis, the 5th-year senior from Washington, D.C., getting down there on special teams.
We always like your seniors to set the bell high, the bar high for and be the bell cow for your special teams. And boy, that was a tremendous job of getting down there, penetrating. Anytime you can hold them inside the 20-yard line on a kick return, you're doing your job defensively. And let's see what they try to do here. The last series, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with a couple penalties. I look for them to probably sprint out a little bit like they were early or run some misdirection passes to Hampton in the flat.
Williamson under center. Single setback. Trips to the near side. They're going to swing it out to Mixon, and Mixon is wrapped up at the 20-yard line. Nice defensive play.
Seen a lot of good fundamental tackling by both teams today. Not many missed tackles, not many missed assignments, and a well-executed game plan by both teams. You're having to execute your defense to stop some plays that they see in practice all the time. This is the same thing that ODU runs against them, those kind of bubble screens.
Picked up 1 on the play, so it's 2nd and 9. Trips to the top of your screen this time, and Williamson wants to go deep. And he was looking for Proctor at about the 45-yard line of ODU. In coverage that time, Eric Lewis.
Coach Rick Schnase has amped up the pressure here. Really good job of stepping up in the pocket, letting it go and not taking a sack. But if you don't get your feet set, you're not going to get the velocity you need to throw a deep pass. And looks like we might have some cramping out here.
As Williamson got rid of the football, watching that replay, you saw Chris Smith. He got rid of the football just in time. Smith, a senior from Santa Rosa Junior College, and right next to him, Malik Gums from Nassau Community College. They said last year they felt like freshmen again, even though they played junior college football. They feel like they've grasped the system, and they were a lot more comfortable going into this game than they were a year ago.
Well, Coach Bobby Wilder, strict disciplinarian. They bring in the guy from a junior college. He's got to make that adjustment to a different style. And, I think that's one thing that's helped this team, the competition they have for position. A lot of guys are fighting for jobs, and we're going to see some shuffling back and forth. And as we said, as many as 25, 30 different defensive players playing today.
You saw Eric Lewis limp off the field. Lewis, the 5th-year senior cornerback. So taking his place, number 27, Aaron Young. Williamson fires, and this one's picked off. Picked off at the 30-yard line. Valante Misher, the junior from Washington, D.C. He had 2 picks last year. He gets the first one this year.
Well, he lined up in a 2-deep coverage here and read the quarterback's eyes. Williams is looking at his target the whole way. He broke on the football and came right underneath the receiver for a tremendous interception. Look for some kind of special play here to try to put him to sleep here. A big turnover, and as we mentioned, let's see if the ODU offense can take advantage of this big turnover.
Misher, the senior, led the team last year with 95 tackles. He gets the big INT here with 6:04 to go before halftime. And the Monarchs hoping to open up a 2-touchdown cushion at the break. Right up the middle. And this one's going to go for 6. Jared Johnson. The sophomore from Richmond, Virginia, goes 31 yards for the score.
A really good job here, reading the defense, splitting it open. I believe you could have scored there, Mike. I don't know. You might have cramped up, but let me tell you something. That was a really good call by Coach Scott. The defense had been expecting, kind of like I did, they might go for the home run, and they split the coverage and ran right up the gut.
Seeger's on for his third extra point. It's funny you say cramped up. Last year, Johnson against North Carolina had 144 yards. He went 81 yards but ran out of gas, he said, so he's worked extra hard on his fitness and getting in shape this year. 31 yards for the score for Jared Johnson. 6 more. Heineke could care less, huh, if it's a pass or a run.
Oh, he's a team player. I mean, when you've thrown 103 touchdown passes, I mean, it's good to see. He knows he's going to need a running game to play in Conference USA against teams like Marshall, and the teams are getting ready to play over the next few weeks. They got a big game with NC State next week on the road. State came back today in a big game against Georgia Southern and won 24-23. That could have been a big upset, but the one thing that you like in a well-coached team, and you've seen this with Bobby Wilder, sometimes you have a little adversity. The first quarter, 7-7 is the first game of the year, but all of a sudden the defense comes out, they make a big stop, offense answers with a long march, then the defense comes back with a big turnover, and bam, one play, now it's 21-7. We got to see a situation here with Coach Maynard where they got to establish and make a couple first downs here, get back to what they did on that long march.
I was going to say Heineke there shown on the sidelines. At the top of the broadcast, we showed you his numbers. 11,483 yards passing in his career. Really didn't start and become a star until he was a senior in high school in Atlanta. Then he wound up passing for over 4,200 yards, and the rest is history. Mixon's going to take this one just inside the 10-yard line. He's got some running room, and he's hit over the 25 at about the 27. So coming up on special teams, a nice job there by C.J. Bradshaw. College football on American Sports Network is brought to you by Koch Industries. Great to have you with us here on the American Sports Network. One of 50-plus games during the college football season, as we talked about at the top of the show. Several hundred college events on the American Sports Network, including a ton of college basketball. And it's a thrill to be working with Jim Donnan, the former Marshall and Georgia coach, a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. As we go to the inside 6 minutes now, 5:52 to go for Williamson. Williamson's going down. That pocket collapsed in a hurry. Looks like he fumbled the football. At least the Monarchs are saying they did. Big number 95 comes up with it. Pancho Barnwell, a junior from East Nassau Community College. Let's take another look at it.
Trying to get the play action going. As long as they don't run the ball any better than they have the last few plays. His knees were down there. Let's take advantage of replay here. No question in my mind that his knees are down.
Rich Nagy said Preston Smith will start, but Pancho Barnwell might get the majority of the reps. He was in on that play. Washington weaves his way up over the 25. Original line of scrimmage, the 28-yard line. So 3rd and 12 coming up here for the Pirates.
You always worry about, as a coach, your first game, your condition of your squad, how hard to work them, what are you doing as far as your physical conditioning after practice? Are they getting enough rest in between practices? Because cramping's one thing you just can't do anything about. I mean, we saw LeBron James cramp up in the NBA playoffs, and people are asking, why don't they do something? Hey, there's nothing you can do. You better really hydrate yourself all week and get ready to go. And we got 88 degrees out here right now.
First game of the 2014 season. And what about some of the preseason polls around college football? And second half, I want to talk about a couple of big games by Conference USA teams with big victories last night in college football.
Well, everybody knows about Taylor Heineke, but how about the quarterback? Old Dominion got their first shot at playing in the FBS, and we'll see how they do.
Second half, I want to talk about Brandon Dowdy of Western Kentucky, the numbers he put up at quarterback for the Hilltoppers last night in that victory over Bowling Green. Phenomenal numbers. Williamson comes back over the middle, and the intended receiver was Rashad Riddick, and it was just beyond his outstretched arms. That's going to bring up a punting situation now for the Pirates. You had mentioned Rakeem Cato. How about Tommy Schuler, his receiver, huh? Back-to-back 100-yard catches, just one of 8 in college football with a pair of 100-catch seasons.
Well, Doc Holliday's got that program back where, it's supposed to be at Marshall. They've got, a really good schedule this year, a good non-conference schedule, and people are talking about they might be able to run the table, but I promise you they're going to have some tough games in this conference. And from top to bottom, there's a lot of good coaching, a lot of good players, and I've been impressed studying the tape, everything from the commissioner on down. Britt Banowski is an outstanding commissioner, well thought of throughout the country. Alfred White, his assistant, just does a tremendous job, got great relations with the NCAA, used to work with them. Russ Anderson promoting the conference with the media. I mean, this is a really first-class organization, and we've been very blessed to be able to cover them.
Yeah, Old Dominion, usually the NCAA wants a 2-year cushion when you go Division 1A, but Conference USA complimented these guys with a full schedule. They are eligible for the conference championship this year, but not eligible for a bowl unless they don't fill all the bowl slots. Faber-Kinney with the punt, and it goes out of bounds. It's going to be interesting where they spot this with 4:25 to go.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I went to a lot of bowls as a player and a coach, and any bowl team in America, any bowl selection committee in America, including some of the large ones, be glad to have a team like Old Dominion in it with a quarterback with all the stats that Taylor Heineke's going to have at the end of the year. And what kind of following would you get from this community? Look at them right here, 36 straight sellout crowds. So I hope that they do get a shot. Of course, they got a tough road to hoe, the first year and really playing FBS, and we'll see how they do. But at this point, I would say they've had a jump start as far as turning their program around.
They had a $25 million renovation at this stadium and plans to build a brand new stadium down by the waterfront. Little screen outside to Antonio Vaughn. He's wrestled down Chaka Dirasuba, the true freshman, in on the tackle again for Hampton.
What we're seeing today from Taylor Heineke and Coach Scott's game plan, these wide splits enable them to throw the quick passing game, throw the ball to the slots underneath. They really haven't gone downfield but about 2 times a day, and as they start creeping up, they're going to let it go here.
Johnson again. Johnson trying to move that pile inside the 30-yard line. On average last year, this Old Dominion team ran it about 33 times, 43 passes, so it's pretty good balance for a team that throws the football a lot.
Exactly. If they only have 2 or 3 runs, and that's all they need as much as they throw the ball, because they control the down and distance with a lot of their underneath passes, and they continue to eat up the clock and make first downs and tire this Pirate defense down.
First down carry. Johnson again hits that middle, and he's pushed back this time just shy of the 25-yard line. A gain of maybe 1 on the play. Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator, who, interesting enough, Skip Holtz called Bobby Wilder, and he wanted to hire him away and take him down to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier the fact that good commitment by Wood Selig and the athletic department. You got to get a coach like that. You need to do what you can to keep him, because he's the guy behind the offense. He's got the good staff with him. Coach D does a good job with the offensive line, and Coach Wilder's got his hand in it. He used to be a quarterback himself at Maine, so this is a well-coached football team.
Old Dominion's going to call a timeout inside 3 minutes here in the first half. 2:52 to go. Monarchs on top, 21-7. Trying to make that 28-7 before we head for halftime. So we talked about some of the games, the big games last night, the big wins for Conference USA. Last night is...
Well, let's go right to what you're talking about. Western Kentucky, Jeff Brom taking over the helm for Bobby Petrino. a really good job. That's kind of an interesting situation. Bowling Green from the MAC played at Bowling Green, Kentucky last night, the home of the Hilltoppers. And I don't know if that's a final on the Marshall score. It's 21-3, but certainly a good win for UAB today, beating Troy. They're playing for the championship of Alabama for Conference USA there with the situation. UAB and Troy got a big rivalry going.
Rice, last year's champions, not shying away from anyone. They open up at Notre Dame and then at Texas A&M. Then they'll host this Old Dominion team in their first Conference USA game. Heineke, little screen. Vaughn, top of your screen inside the 30. He's wrestled out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. That's Keith McAfee again, the junior. And right now Notre Dame in the second quarter is on top of Rice, just 14-7. Another third down for Heineke. 3rd and 6 at the 26. Steps up. Nice job reading off that 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers. Boy, he does a remarkable job doing that, huh?
Well, he had all day. Here's a situation where they only rushed 3 and really did a good job of covering up the defenders. He looks to his right, comes back to his left, hitches up, and then takes what the defense gives him. Man, this team's capable of making this right here.
Johnson left side, stumbles forward for the first down inside the 20-yard line. You know, Coach, we come on the air talking about almost 12,000 yards passing for this young man. But talk about consistency. Talking about Heineke of number 14 there. Look at those numbers, huh? 68.7% 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. Identical 68.7% last year. And then 70%, or last season, I should say, 70%, and he's got his team on the move again. So that's 68, 68, and 70.
Extremely accurate, and part of accuracy in throwing the football is your line knowing how to protect you. We're going to take a timeout here, and your receivers running the proper route. So you don't see a lot of busted plays with this team. They execute. We got a chance to watch them work out. They had an extremely long workout for a walkthrough yesterday, and we're going to take a look right now how he stands with look at some of these things. I mean, you couldn't do this in a video game. I mean, we're talking about 12,500 and all these yards, because he's gotten over 1,000 yards rushing. The touchdown passes, he's up to 103. And the thing I like about him, talking to him, he knows the game, Mike. He really studies it. We mentioned he's an engineer, and he's got a chance for pro football. I mean, you look around the league, he's tall enough, he's got a good enough arm. And, you know, I get a chance to go to some of these pro camps and look at some of these guys. This guy can go in there and get a shot. Now, he's got to be with the right system, and he's got to get a place where he can fit in, but he's definitely going to get a look.
Earlier I talked about his 11,483, the first quarterback in Virginia to go over 10,000. Logan Thomas, Virginia Tech, 9,003. He's 4th on that list. Matt Schaub of Virginia, 7,502. He's 8th on the list. So Heineke, 11,483 and counting, I should say, as he continues to pile up the yardage right now, facing a 1st and 10 in the red zone. Boy, put some air under that one, and Pascal has his 2nd touchdown.
We've been talking about how well the Pirates are supporting the hitch screen. He pumps it, backs up, and then delivers a perfect strike to the end zone. Excellent job of coaching, getting the plays in there, taking what the defense gives you. We can see a lot of run support on those quick screens, and all of a sudden this game has gone from a 7-7 tie to, if they convert this, to a 21-point lead. That's what you got to do if you're going to be a championship team. Answer the challenge.
Seegers is on. He's perfect on the afternoon as he takes over the kicking duties. And number 6 is Zach Pascal, the redshirt sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, having a big day. That's his 2nd touchdown reception. And the Monarchs are opening up the 2014 season in fashion, 28-7 now with 1:24 to go before halftime. Last drive, just 7 plays, 40 yards for another Monarch touchdown. Heineke, I was talking yesterday, we're joking around about Montana and Bill Walsh. Montana said it was him. Bill Walsh said it was the system. I said, here, is it the system or is it the quarterback? And he said it's definitely the system. Coach Wilder said it's definitely the quarterback. It's not the system.
Well, you know, it's good for the coaches to recognize that you got talent. One of the things that I really was impressed with Coach Wilder when he got here, he knew what he wanted to do with his plan, and part of it was running the spread offense. He got good coaches in here, and he went out and recruited an excellent quarterback. He's also got one coming up. Schuler is coming in here. Schuler Bentley from Burns High School. I know Bobby Bentley, who's now working at Auburn, a great coach, and this young man's been playing football since he's about 2 years old, and he's going to kind of take over here when Taylor Heineke leaves. But you know, that's what you got to do. You got to have a system in place that everybody understands what to do. Your protection. Boy, we got a good kickoff return coming here.
That's Washington. Jorian Washington spins up over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. So with a minute 17 to go before halftime, the Pirates will have decent field position, trying to get that offense revved up again. Or maybe it's the Monarch defense that's settling down and getting the job done.
I think a little bit of both. They got some help with those 2 penalties on the first possession after the score, and now they got a lot of confidence, and I think maybe Williamson's shaking up a little bit. Here's a different look coming out in empty formation, no backs. Let's see if they can hold up on their protection.
Williamson comes out firing, and it looks like his favorite receiver so far today, number 11, Rashad Riddick, has another catch.
In a 2-minute mode here, we're going to see if Coach Nagy lights him up a little bit, playing very soft right now against this empty look, and I look for him to start coming a little more pressure. Still a 3-man rush again, though.
Trips to the bottom. Twin receivers to the top. He goes to the top, and again, it's Riddick. Riddick is wrestled down at the midfield stripe. Eric Lewis, we saw him limp off the field, back on the field. He makes the tackle defensively for Old Dominion. Final 60 seconds of the first half coming up here. Nice job. Williamson saw the opening. He takes it, and he's inside the 45-yard line of ODU. Williamson, 40 touchdowns as a senior in high school at Oscar Smith High School. Perennial power here in the state of Virginia. And Williamson's going to call a timeout with 36 seconds to go. Season opener for Hampton out of the MEAC, as well as Old Dominion. Old Dominion finishing 8-4 last year. Hampton 4-8, so 4-4 in the MEAC. And Bobby Wilder, the head coach of Old Dominion, saying, hey, it's going to be a challenge. It's our first year, of course, Conference USA, but he loves challenges.
Well, let's just state the facts here for the fans out there listening on American Sports Network. 2 years ago, they had 63 scholarships. That's what you do as a head coach in the FCS. Then they got to go to 85. It's hard to just jump up and get that many players in 2 years because you have attrition, you have injuries. So their squad numbers are starting to build up, but everybody else in this league has been using the 85 except UTSA for the last 7 or 8 years.
This one's complete to Leon Shorter, a junior from Fort Pierce, Florida. That's his first catch of the afternoon. It moves the chains with 31 seconds to go.
Good poise again by Williamson. I guarantee you, this kid knows the offense. He knows what's available. They've had 3 short throws. They've moved the ball about 25 yards. They got an excellent kicker. You know, if they could get 3 points out of this, that'd be, I know they want 7, but Prevost is getting in close to his range right now. He had 17 field goals last year, and I know Coach Maynard's looking at trying to get a score any way he can here to go into halftime and kind of jumpstart this team going in the second half.
Williamson comes back, and again, it's complete to Riddick. Gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 26 seconds to go.
What they're doing is lining up in an empty set, no backs, clearing out the outside cornerback, and then running the underneath receivers to the out. It's very difficult for a defensive end like Everett. Although he's a good pass rusher, he has a hard time covering that flat area. I think they're going to probably bring him off the edge. They did this time, get some pressure, and he's right in quarterback's face.
Pushed out of the pocket that time because of the Monarch pressure, and that'll bring up a third down with 19 seconds to go. A 3rd and 2, the ball at the 28-yard line. You talk about Prevost hitting 17 last year. From this range, 9 of 10 last season.
Be a great time to run the quarterback draw the way they're rushing the passer. This is my one call of the day.
Now, you've had one already with a touchdown pass. You're 1 for 1. You're batting 1,000.
Coach Maynard looked like he was still playing the way he ran out on the field that time. He's still got some eligibility left.
Yeah, we talked about his Arena Day prowess when he won with Orlando. Jay Gruden, now the head coach of the Washington Redskins, was his coach in Orlando at the Arena League. But as a coach, Maynard then went over to Tampa Bay Storm and won 2 titles there as a coach in 93 and 94.
This guy's won everywhere he's been. He was a great college quarterback. He's done well in Arena League. He took Winston-Salem State to 2 national championships, and I think he's going to do a great job. This is one of the most unbelievable areas in the country to recruit. I know when I was in North Carolina, we used to come up here. Very fortunate we got Lawrence Taylor out of here, but let me tell you something. There's a lot of good high school football here. There's no pro football in the state, so we got Virginia Tech, William and Mary, James Madison, but this team right here, Old Dominion and now Hampton, I mean, this is going to be a lot of good players wanting to go to both of these schools, watching them on TV today.
Well, Coach, here we go. 19 seconds to go. 3rd down. Where do they have to get to make it easy for Prevost?
I would say try to get it right here. They got it.
Right over the middle. Mixon inside the 5-yard line, and he's down at the 2 with 13 seconds to go.
They've been playing 2 deep coverage, so he's going to get up and spike the ball here.
So 13 seconds to go. Williamson spikes it. He said, "The heck with the field goal. Let's get a touchdown here before halftime."
I think they can maybe run 2 more plays here. Here's a great shot of this ball down the middle. I hope we're going to get it here. Playing 2 deep coverage. He looks off to the left, comes back down the middle, and splits the safeties with a strike. A really good job of trying to get in the end zone, too, knowing where he was on the field. You got 1 yard to go. Right now, I promise you, this is one of the hardest calls any coach, pro, college, junior college, high school's got to make, because everybody says, hey, punch it in there, but all of a sudden, if you punch it in there and the guy breaks out or something, you might run the clock out. He's going to sneak it in there.
High formation, penalty flag, stop the play before it got going.
Delay a game.
Still 2nd down.
The ball was on the 1-yard line. Now it's going to push it back. And they'll put the 2nd back on the clock, so there'll be 10 seconds. But now instead of the 1, they're 6 yards away.
Well, as far as throwing the ball, he's got a better shot from the 6 than he does the 1 because he got more space here. But eliminates the chance to run it here, though.
Trips to the near side. 9 seconds. There's the pass, and no penalty flag. The intended receiver was Leon Shorter. Got good size, 6'3", 189. He got his hands on the ball, and he wanted to flag. There was some contact, but no penalty flag dropped.
Good pressure up the middle here, and it really steps up in there good. I think you got to let him play. That was a good call.
It was Phil Paulhill, starting safety. 5 seconds. Great defensive play again. It's number 17.
Even though they didn't get the touchdown here, I look for Coach. I wouldn't be surprised if being down 28-7 if he doesn't just go for this. I like the fact that Williamson got rid of the ball so quickly to give him 1 more shot. They've run 2 plays inside of 10 seconds. They've done a good job of throwing to the inside receiver to the outside. Let's see if they do that this time.
Paulhill getting the start because Rob Thompson has a shoulder injury. 2 big defensive plays. Last play, half. It's Mixon in for the touchdown. And the Pirates accomplish what they wanted to do.
Well, he hit the inside receiver, but he fooled me. He broke to the inside, and that was a really tremendous 2-minute offense. Got the ball back with 1 minute and 13 seconds, and pass after pass, execution after execution. Last play of the half, and gives us football team, a lot of juice going in there to halftime, only down 14. That really gives them a lot of encouragement that they can move the ball. They've had 2 monster drives against this Monarch defense.
Yeah, 117 for a score. That one won 10 plays for 62 yards. And the impressive thing was the penalty pushed it from the 1 back to the 6, but they still got it in for the touchdown. So we've played a half in the 2014 opener. We've seen some good things on both sides of the line of scrimmage, but right now they head for the locker room to talk things over. The Monarchs of Old Dominion, opening up their first season as members of Conference USA, head for the locker room with a 2-touchdown lead. It's 28-14 over the Pirates of Hampton. Halftime is coming up.
These are the faces.
Hey there, and welcome to Halftime, the first ever halftime here.
Back at Old Dominion, there's the numbers after 30 minutes, so 30 of the 60 in the books here for the season opener. 28-14 as we take a look at some of the numbers in the first half. As we talked about the time of possession, that goes in favor of the Pirates of Hampton. But again, just 1 punt for Old Dominion. When you take a look at the total yardage right there, 163, 202. Far cry from the 500 they had last year. But hey, the 28-14, those are the most important numbers, right?
Well, they hadn't had many possessions, and a very good job of keeping the ball away from them, particularly the first quarter and a half. But I look for them to take this first drive and reestablish the fact the Monarchs will get the toss here and get the ball. Continue to work their outside passing game, because it's really tough to run it up the gut. But when they do spread out, they run it up the gut, and they've had 2 touchdowns on it. But we've had some really good red zone performance by both teams. Both teams getting the ball in the end zone when you get it down there. Third down, 6 out of 11 is pretty good for a visiting team in a hostile environment. And I can't say enough about the fact that well-played game by both teams. 6 penalties and on one side and 1 for the Monarchs. But overall, for a first game for both teams, particularly a team having a new coach like Maynard coming in there. Coach Maynard's done a terrific job getting his team ready, and I really like the way that Coach Wilder got his team together and redirected their attack there and got those 3 touchdowns when they were down.
28-14, second half is just around the corner.
You're watching the American Sports Network, Sinclair Broadcast Group's collegiate sports channel, the new home to Conference USA, the Colonial.
Back in Norfolk, Virginia, Bobby Wilder, 46-14, coaching this team, now making the maiden voyage into the Conference USA. First game of the season, up 28-14. Next on the docket for them, NC State in Raleigh, and there's Taylor Heineke. His numbers in the first half, 14 of 18, 121 yards, but a couple of touchdowns, a long of 21. And on the other side, Connell Maynard, the former quarterback. His quarterback, J.J. Williamson, 18 of 28 with a pick, 2 touchdowns, 139 yards with a long of 27. So Williamson has showed some poise as well here for the young sophomore. Maynard said we probably can't make adjustments like we will be able to deeper in the season because we have so many young guys. Down 2 touchdowns to a pretty good offensive program like Old Dominion. What's going through his mind right now?
I think he's got to just hope they get a good stop here where he can keep running the same offense and not get into a throwing game down after down. But one thing that was impressive, they lined up in the empty set, that 2-minute offense with no backs, and went right down the field. I know Coach Nagy had him in kind of a prevent look, but we might see more of that no-back stuff from the Pirates the second half.
And the second half is underway, and Old Dominion will decide to down it. And they'll take it with better field position. As Cam Boyd said, I better not run it out. So again, the Monarchs in that first half, 81 yards rushing, 121 yards passing, but 28 points on the board, just 1 punt in the first 30 minutes of play.
They really do a good job of protecting the football, too. The receivers, after they catch it, they cradle it. The backs run up inside tough, but not a lot of chances to turn the ball over when you play, or get turnovers when you play against this Monarch team.
Kenny Phillips, the defensive coordinator, saying that this young man, Taylor Heineke, he will not throw into coverage, so he won't make mistakes. First play, second half, they keep it on the ground up near the 30-yard line.
When you're a passing football team, when you can run the ball for 4 yards, that's like it's golden, because that helps your protection, it helps your play action. And now they're in a real manageable 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6 play, and they got their whole package that they can run from this formation.
Twins at the top and bottom of your screen. Cam Boyd in the backfield along with Heineke, who wants to throw the ball again. Steps up, plenty of time, fires. There's Vaughn over the midfield stripe and inside Pirate territory. So 2 plays, and they're inside Hampton territory already.
I think Pascal might have caught that one. A very good job of clearing out to the inside, and then Pascal lined up on the outside. Here's one of the few times today we've seen a 3-by-1 formation. We got 1-on-1 on the backside. Let's see if they try to attack Pascal over there.
Good call. Pascal number 6, Vaughn is 5. So I stand corrected. It was Pascal who had a couple of touchdowns. There's Pascal again reaching for that 40-yard line. He's got to get to about the 39 for the first down. It'll be 2nd and 2 at the 41.
They're going to keep wearing this guy out over there, I promise you. As long as they just have one guy into the boundary, it's pitch and catch.
Lorenzo Fields, cornerback on the top of your screen, the junior from Chesterfield, Virginia. Heineke going deep, and this time it's Vaughn, and this time Vaughn is in the end zone for the touchdown. 41 yards, Antonio Vaughn.
He lined up in the same 3-by-1 formation. Vaughn lines up as the inside receiver on the slot. Heineke looks off to the left, and a perfect dart down the middle. Just enough air under the ball for Vaughn to run under it. What a terrific throw.
3 touchdowns now for Heineke in the ball game. He had 6 against Rhode Island last year. Once had 7 touchdowns against Campbell 2 years ago when he won the Walter Payton Award when he threw for over 5,000. And Seegers is back on for the extra point. So just like that, the Monarchs come out in the second half. Taylor Heineke, 105 touchdowns down his career. This one covers 41 yards. They have a 35-14 lead.
Look at that.
Number 5, Antonio Vaughn, a 5th-year senior from Ahoskie, North Carolina. 9 touchdowns last year. This one goes 41 yards. There's the numbers on him, 4 for 65. They said they go about 10 deep in receiver, Coach, but in the first half, only 4 used. Got a funny feeling that Heineke's such a good guy that he's going to try to start spreading the wealth around a little bit more in the second half.
Well, you always hear about every quarterback says, take what the defense gives you. And this guy does that. We saw they came out in a 2-by-2 set the ball up, made a big 3rd down conversion, and then they got one-on-one coverage on the weak side. As long as they were throwing weak side routes one-on-one, he took it over there. And then all of a sudden they went to 2 deep and took the safety over there. Not getting too technical here, but they had 3 guys on 2 over here, and Vaughn was the guy like fast break in basketball, and he led it to him perfectly.
That's 22 touchdown catches now career-wise for Vaughn, 105 throws, touchdown throws. For Heineke, Washington weaves his way through traffic. He's still on his feet over the 40, 45. Nice return by Washington, and Jorian Washington's up near the 47-yard line.
Well, he shows you what kind of multi-purpose back he is and why he led the team in a lot of different categories last year. He's good in open space. The problem is they just haven't been able to create much for him in the running game. I look for him maybe throw some screens to him or try to get him on the edge, because the inside front of the Monarchs kind of dominating this offensive production for the Pirates so far, but their passing game's been outstanding. They got to just maybe break a couple of draw plays or something to slow out this protection down.
Williamson, play action. Bought him some time, and this is complete to 11 again. Riddick. So Riddick with yet another catch. He was the #1 receiver for them in the first half. Riddick had 6 catches for 52 yards. That's his 6th catch already here this afternoon.
Just outstanding execution on the naked bootleg. And what that does is it makes all the linebackers go one way, and it sets up the crossfield type routes by Riddick and also the underneath coverage. And Williamson continues to amaze me with his ball placement. He's a very accurate passer.
One-time Virginia Player of the Year wants to go upstairs again, and he got it. His man open inside the 5-yard line, and it's a touchdown. Rashawn Proctor.
Boy, just sleight of hand here. He fakes the reverse, puts the ball on his hip, shows poise, waits to the last second, and then Proctor just goes up. And how about this effort to stick it in the end zone? Tremendous play, tremendous execution. Way to answer the challenge here by this Hampton football team. Offensively, they've come out here and shown you so many different looks. I think they might be checking this to make sure it was a touchdown, but give it to him.
You're right. I mean, he did a great job. I thought his knee was down, but showing great balance, great strength just to find that end zone. Just 2 plays, 53 yards. So taking a chapter out of Old Dominion's book with the quick strike. Well, he carried out that fake nicely, didn't he?
Yeah, really good job of stepping up and really got the ball at its highest point, avoided the defender, and then he put his hand down.
Yeah.
I saw that all the way. I mean, from my standpoint, you know, he's that close. I guess the officials, Gerald Austin does a good job with these guys. And, you know, regardless of what the score is or what's happening, you got to call it like it's a 1-touchdown game. But it looked to me like it was in there all the way.
Whoop, that left knee might have. Paul Jones is up there looking at it right now. And it looked like the left leg, if we could say one more look at it. Nonetheless, a great effort. Great effort by Proctor. So they're going to rule him down. His left leg just touched. But they'll have the ball inside the 5 at about the 2-yard line.
You know, the last time they were down here, they tried to move up at the last second and do the sneak, and they got a 5-yard penalty. I'm sure Coach Boehner has talked to the football team about show your poise on the goal line, get down there, get set, and let's don't have any penalties to move us back to the 5.
So right now the scoreboard reads 35-20. But again, they went upstairs. Paul Jones, the replay official, took a look at it. His left leg, his left knee did touch. So they'll take a touchdown off the board. It'll be the 35-14, but they will be knocking on the door inside the 2-yard line. Or at least inside the 3. Can't tell where they're going to spot the ball. One more look, Coach. Watch the left leg. Right there. So nice job by Paul Jones and this officiating crew getting that correctly.
I wish it had replay when I was coaching. I promise you. I probably still might be coaching. Hey, seriously, I missed that one badly up here. It looked to me like I was planning for a good effort play by him, but obviously the refs got it right, and that's what they're supposed to do. Well, let's see if they can punch it in here. Right now they got too many people in the game, but now they're getting the substitutions right.
Morris Brailsford, number 49, a big tight end, is in the backfield now, along with the true freshman Eric Carter. Carter gets the call, follows the big tight end, and he breaks the plane for a touchdown. So Eric Carter, the 5'10", 215-pound true freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina, gets his first collegiate touchdown.
Well, they go to their power game here, put the big tight end in, and they really run hard up inside. And Carter's a bigger back than Washington and showed you the power that you need to make the pile move. And we're in a 35-21 game here if Prevost can connect. And going back and forth here, both teams answering the challenge.
Prevost right down the middle of the freeway. So he's perfect on all three of his attempts here this afternoon. 12:15 to go in the third quarter. 2 possessions, second half, 2 touchdowns. It's 35-21 Monarchs over the Pirates.
Look at that. Justin Verlander. Mean Joe Green. Teresa Weatherspoon. T.Y. Hilton.
35-21, 12:15 to go in the third quarter. Hall of Fame coach Jim Donnan along with Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us here on the American Sports Network. First of 50-plus games of college football on the American Sports Network. College basketball, hundreds of games coming up. And Prevost getting ready to kick off. Again, the deep men, Johnson and Boyd. Boyd back at the goal line for Old Dominion. And it's going to be Boyd watching it go out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. There's the penalty flag, and they'll have great field position.
Always tough to kick the ball out of bounds. Prevost, an excellent kicker. He's been kicking it in the end zone and preventing the run backs. We're starting to see some cramping on both teams here. I look for the conditioning to be a big part of the second half. A very humid type day out here today, and we're going to see some cramping.
College football season started, of course, with Texas A&M beating South Carolina the other night, and Taylor Heineke said that actually got the juices flowing as he watched Kenny Hill, the Texas A&M sophomore quarterback, have such a big game. He said he wished they would have played the game yesterday after watching that one.
Well, it was certainly a surprise, not so much that they won, but the way they won. And, you know, Mark Snyder had a good line that I talked to Mark Snyder earlier in the week, the defensive coordinator for Texas A&M, and I said, how's your defense? Because the last couple of years they've really given up a lot of points. He said, well, we got some good young players. They just don't know how to shave yet. So it's a pretty young football team. And they went into Williams-Brice, had lost, some really good players on offense, Johnny Football and Matthews and Evans, but they came out there and really attacked. I tell you, that Hill kid had one of those games you dream about. And both these quarterbacks are doing the same thing today. Execution now around the country in the passing game is so much more advanced than it used to be. These kids are better coached in high school. They go to these camps, these 7-on-7 leagues. The efficiency with which they operate is just tremendous, because that's what you got to do if you're going to throw the ball. You got to be able to not only throw it, but you got to complete it. You got to protect it. You got to run after you catch. And both these teams do an excellent job executing.
After this play, I'm going to ask you who your best college quarterback was, at Marshall or Georgia. You can answer that after this play. Heineke, 17 of 21, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns at this juncture. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. All day to throw it. Swings it out to Boyd, and Boyd is tripped up. Nice job defensively by Jordan Hill, the junior from Fayetteville, Virginia, coming out to make the defensive stop.
Really good open field tackling. Continue as quick as they support the run on these flare passes. They're going to do these pump and goes here again, because they're very active in the secondary and their perimeter defense.
Loss on the play after the tackle by Hill. It's 2nd and 11 from the 34. Heineke dumps it out again. It's Boyd, just shy of the 40-yard line. And he has run out of bounds. Tyrone Ward making the defensive stop for Hampton, and it's 3rd and 6. Heineke finally finds Pascal at the 45. Plenty of time, but he does such a great job of looking off his receivers.
Well, they showed a 5-man front. Then both backers, what we say, bossed out of there. They lined up, and then they moved out. You see him move out at the last second. And, you know, when you can double team 2 of the 3 rushers, you're going to get good protection. But he's just kind of orchestrating and throws it down the field and makes a big first down. Hampton's got to make some stops on 3rd down, get their defense off the field.
Heineke eluding the rush. He steps out of bounds. Miles Grooms Number 8, 6'4", 244-pounder, had him in his sights.
You know, a lot of fans talk and call in radio shows and say, hey, we don't like to prevent defense. We don't like the three-man rush. But let me tell you, if you talk to Aaron Rodgers or you talk to a high school player or you talk to Heineke, nobody likes a three-man rush because that means you got 8 guys down there defending the pass, and it's very difficult to throw into that kind of coverage.
Heineke has his man inside the 40-yard line.
Unless you're Taylor Heineke, you can throw into 11-man front. I promise you that was a very accurate throw, and the situation's getting to the point where if you don't get more pressure on him, he's just going to pick you apart. And what we've seen with J.J. Williams, let's look at this one again. We'll talk about Williamson in a second, but a very good job of just looking over and scanning the defense. You'll see the three-man rush. The guard and the tackle can double team right there, push them back, and then we throw the in-breaking route. Pretty good coverage and break on the ball, but excellent catch.
Well, another true freshman, Marquise Little, gets his first catch as a college football player. We're going to take a timeout. 10:23 to go, quarter number 3.
The University of Texas at El Paso is changing the face of higher education. UTEP is the first national research university with a 21st century student demographic. We are pursuing a quest for excellence while strengthening.
Back at Old Dominion, 35-21. It's first and 10 at the 38 for the Monarchs. Heineke, 221 passing yards so far this afternoon. 3 touchdowns. Johnson gets the call, a little bit of running room. He bounces off the would-be tackler, just shy of the 30-yard line. Has to get down to about the 28 for the first down.
You know, I like the way Johnson has the presence of making something happen. You know, he gets behind his blockers. He's a pretty small kid, and he jumps around, but he always makes the pile move. You know, that's an 8-yard gain, and we talked about the 4-yard runs were big, but 8 yards in this attack, I mean, that's golden.
Johnson, again, inside the 30-yard line, close to the first down marker. So follow ASN on Twitter at #live on ASN to catch unique game day perspectives on Twitter. 3rd and 1. So Johnson was just shy of the first down. He'll get it, and then some. He bounces off to the outside, and he's inside the 20 down to about the 16-yard line.
You know what's impressive? 3 straight runs picking up the first down. They had their second team wide receivers in there blocking. Now all of a sudden they got their first group back in there. They substitute 4 receivers here. Watch out. Here comes the air raid.
Heineke eyes up the situation as they go back to the ground. This time it's Boyd with the spin, and he bounces off the tackler inside the 10, spins again down to the 8-yard line, possibly the 7. And it's going to be very close to another first down. Getting it done. 2nd down and about a yard to go. Ball inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. Both teams very proficient in the red zone in that first half. Boyd right up the middle. Touchdown, Monarchs. Coach, you called it. That's about the 3rd touchdown they've had right up the gut.
Well, they only run 2 or 3 running plays, the inside-outside zone, and Taylor Heineke can read it, but at the same time, they're running some predetermined gives. I mean, when they're getting 5 and 6 yards a clip, Boyd really did a good job after Johnson got it down there and stuck it in the end zone.
Well, they averaged just over a shade of 42 points a game last year for the 12-game season. Ricky Seegers hits the upright, and he missed. So they're going to be a point shy of 42 right here after the missed extra point. 41-21. Take a look at Mr. Boyd again. Right up the middle. Boy, untouched for the touchdown. Monarchs by 20. Well, Coach, you talked about cramps earlier in the ball game. That was Ricky Seegers, the kicker, and it was his left leg. He kicks right, but he cramped up on his left leg. They're working on him down on the sidelines.
Well, I hope he's going to be all right. At least it wasn't his right leg, but, that's his plant leg. And, when you kick that many extra points, sometimes you get a cramp. I mean, he's already kicked 5 today. He's working on his 6th one there. But overall, just a really good job of executing by the Monarchs there. It's got to give them a lot of confidence that they can run the ball up inside. And, again, let's see what the answer is to Coach Maynard and his offense. He's been able to answer it throughout the game.
Washington, Nixon back at the 10-yard line. Washington has been very impressive returning kicks. They go back to him again. This is going to be Washington at the 12. Waits for the wedge, breaks to the outside, and Washington up over the 40, and he's up over the 45. So once again, Jory and Washington giving the Pirates good field position.
Well, those short kicks have a tendency to get returned like that because they got pretty good momentum there. If you start out in the end zone and bring it out, it's hard to make it. But you starting on the 10 or 12, bringing it out. 2 successive great returns by Washington. Now great field position for Coach Maynard to call the game. Anything in his repertoire he can handle here.
Well, Connell Maynard giving the last second instructions to J.J. Williamson. Maynard, a former quarterback himself at Winston-Salem State. First team All-MEAC in 90 and 91. This Hampton team picked to finish 7th in the MEAC this year. But if they continue to prove, I think they might surprise some people in that league. Pressure, and there's the fumble. Ball is loose at the 39. And the Monarchs came with a lot of pressure from the edge.
Really good edge pressure here, and JJ just can't even raise his arm. Very fortunate to recover that because this would be a backbreaker. Down 3 scores, get down 4, and then the defense is just going to pin their ears back and come. And what we're seeing is pretty good pressure with a 4-man look here, and they're alternating their front. Some of the second-team guys are in there.
T.J. Ricks and Pancho Barnwell both got in there from both sides. This is complete. And wrestled out of bounds by Javon Neal, the senior from Austin, Texas.
Lost yardage plays are a big part of any team's defensive game plan. You get the sticks in your favor, then you got a lot of things you can dial up for Coach Rich Nagy. Now he's got 3rd and 12. He can come with a little outside pressure and still defend and get the ball back for this Monarch offense. So he looks like he's coming with a 4-man rush here and try to play too deep.
5 receivers for the Pirates. Empty backfield for Williamson out of the shotgun. First half, for the most part, they kept the ball, or the offense for Old Dominion, off the field. But this is a big 3rd and 11 there.
Had a tendency to go to Riddick in this kind of situation here.
Pressure again, flush from the pocket. And he's tripped up shy of the 50. For 58. Bumni Rotimi. So Christian Faber-Kinney, the sophomore punter, back on. Mentioned his average last year as a true freshman, 42 yards a kick, a long of 71. He had 17 over 50 yards. Vaughn is back at the 11-yard line waving for the fair catch. He lets it hit inside the 10 and heads for the end zone.
Excellent decision by Vaughn back there. You put your heels on the 10-yard line. If the ball goes over your head, let it go. Now they're going to start out on the 20. Well-coached play and excellent execution. That's a good punt, too.
So Heineke to Pascal. That's been a big combination so far here this afternoon. Pascal with a couple of touchdown catches.
Yeah, I like the way this guy operates. He can go inside. He can go over the middle. He does a good job of getting possession down catches. He takes good care of the football. And after he gets his hands on the ball, you can see some of his giddy up here. He gets a big play, and now he runs a smash route for a touchdown and jumps up underneath it and catches it. Here we go back to live coverage.
13 different receivers last year caught a ball. 7 were back this season. 7 new faces. Keep it on the ground, hit pretty hard just beyond the line of scrimmage. We talked about him spreading the wealth here in the second half. The last possession, Marquise Little, a true freshman, got his first pass.
Hey, that's a Guinness Book of World Records there for the Monarchs, 6 straight runs. I hadn't seen that on any tape we've seen. That's 6 straight times they've run the football. I guess Heineke's arm's getting a little tired.
Well, the backup quarterback is David Washington. He's playing receiver this afternoon. It'll be interesting to see if he gets some quarterback duties. Heineke comes near side, and again it's Pascal. Nice job, body control there, just inside the 35-yard line. Zach Pascal with another catch.
Got some good inside pressure on the late blitz there. And I tell you, Pascal's your best friend when you can make a catch like that. As many accurate throws as Heineke makes throughout the course of a game, you got to get a little help there to help him pick up the first down. And Pascal has made 2 diving catches today. And we've seen England make some good plays, too. These guys, as we mentioned, are very good fundamentally. They run good routes, but they also make the tough catch. And that's what you got to do to win football games. Not necessarily when you're ahead 41-21, but when the band's playing and you got to have it. I believe this Pascal can make those kind of catches.
Well, he certainly has a stable of receivers. Good size, good hands. There's another Pirate down on the field. That's why the game has been delayed. This is the second series that the Pirates have had a player down. Last time it was Keith McAfee, the junior middle linebacker out of Charlotte. I can't catch the number here at the 39. But again, Bobby Wilder, the head coach, losing 4 of his receivers from last year, and some were booted from the team. Said no one's bigger than the team itself, so they broke team rules. They were gone, but Heineke having no problems completing balls to some of these very talented receivers.
Well, one of the tough things about being a coach is seeing one of your players. You know how you feel at home when your own kids get hurt or get sick? It's the same way as a football coach. These kids come out there, they're loyal to you, they do everything possible, and then all of a sudden we see this diving catch here. Just really good body control, extends his fingers and arms at the same time and comes up underneath it. And I sure hope this kid's going to be all right because he's played pretty good today.
That's Cambrell McGee, the senior from Miami, Florida, going off the field.
Coach Phillips was talking about when we had our conference call with him, the defensive coordinator used to be the head coach at Fayetteville State who came along with Coach Maynard up here to Hampton. What a good team leader this kid was the fact that he's accepted the fact he's a senior, but he's gone along with the changes that the new programs instituted and the other kids that followed him because they're going to look at these seniors for leadership and hope he gets back in there.
So Heineke has yet another first down at the 34-yard line. Quarter number 3 inside 5 minutes now. 4:53 and counting. 41-21. Heineke wants to put it up again. Had Vaughn drifting over the middle, and Heineke keeps it himself. And he goes out at about the 37.
The problem with the 3-man rush is the quarterback, it looks like they're not getting any pressure on him. But the people downfield, you got good underneath coverage. They're double teaming the underneath guys, and the outside guys are rolling up on them. So they're going to have to start throwing some delays or short routes in front of these linebackers because they're getting such good depth.
Boy, Heineke all day to throw, and he throws this one out of bounds. I think that's the first throw I've seen this afternoon, and he tossed it out of bounds. Pascal had this look. Can't see his face, obviously, from up here, but he had the body English like, come on, Taylor, there's 10 guys out here you can throw the ball to. You can find somebody. But good coverage that time for the Pirates.
This is the play of the game right now. You're down 3 scores. If they go up 4, who knows what's going to happen. Let's see if they disguise their coverage a little bit and try to get a little heat and get this defense off the field. They're looking like they're going to have a 5-man rush here, but they've been dropping these ends off. But see what they do with it.
5 wideouts on the field. Heineke from the gun. Goes back to work. Fires. Looking for Pascal. And there's a penalty flag. Going against that Pirate defensive secondary.
The difference in that ball being called or the interference was the fact that Pascal came back for the football. That's what you tell your wide receivers to do. Find where the ball's coming from. You know where the quarterback's locating it. and we'll get the call here. They're going to call interference, I think.
Defensive pass interference. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
My point there, Mike, is as a receiver, you know where the sticks are, but you got to put your body between the ball and the defensive back. Just kind of like a basketball player rebounding, and that's what he did, and that's what caused that interference there. He came back just enough where the defensive back hit him and caused that interference call. Very well coached football team.
Even with the interference, Pascal doing a great juggling act, and he almost came down with the catch. Another first down for the Monarchs now in Pirate territory at the 49-yard line.
Frustrating defensively because you're going against a team that knows how to protect the quarterback. You're going against a really good receiver core that knows how to run routes, and you're going against one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played for this team, Hampton, playing against a guy like Heineke. And you got to find a way to get in his face, though, because if he has this much time, he's going to pick you apart like he has all day.
Johnson breaks to the outside, left side, got some running room, and he's going to be dragged down finally. Making the tackle, Breon Key, the basketball player who decided to play some football at Hampton. Breon Key, a member of 3 state championship teams in high school. Getting some action now. They weren't sure if he'd see some action here today, but we've seen some dinged up players on the Pirate side, so Key in the ball game now. Heineke to Johnson. Johnson inside the 40, and a host of tacklers will pound him to the ground. Heineke, a senior, and coach, he was going to redshirt as a freshman. And then their starting quarterback, Thomas DeMarco, got injured. Heineke came in and threw a couple of touchdown passes when they upset UMass 48-33. Led him to the playoffs as Johnson, boy, he won't go down. Keeps those legs churning.
We talked about his ability to kind of feel the softness of the defense and bounce around. Right here, he shows some extreme toughness, besides the fact he's very aware of where the first down markers, but way to bounce around and keep those feet churning and pick up a big first down. And they continue to run the clock when they run the football like this. So I know they're not trying to sit on it. They're coming back with their best receivers in there again. Watch out for some of these screens.
So more on Heineke right after this play. He swings it out. This is Boyd. Got some running room inside the 30. And he's finally dragged down by Jordan Hill, but another big gainer there for the Monarchs.
Well, Coach Scott saw the same thing I did. You know, the defense is playing off of them, and they throw the ball to the backside of the backfield. It's open there all day.
41-21, Heineke continues to pile up the yards. And the penalty flag dropped, and this is going to be a penalty against the Monarchs.
First down.
Cardinal rule, if you're a wide receiver, don't listen to the quarterback. Watch the ball move. To be offsides as a wide receiver is just unforgivable. You better get out there and watch the ball move. Certainly they'll get that corrected, but that could be critical in a really tight game.
4 times Heineke has had 50 or more attempts. He goes upstairs again, moves to the left, and this one's going to go incomplete. But another penalty flag dropped at about the 34-yard line in the backfield. Looks like it's going to be a hold.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Number 74 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You know, hands to the face is a tough call for offensive linemen because they're trying to engage and do the pass protection around the shoulder pads. And a lot of times your hands get up there, and in that case, first big 15-yard penalty we've seen today against the Monarchs. But this gives this defense a chance maybe to disguise their coverages, maybe break on the ball and get a pick here, because more than likely they might run it here. I've been wrong before, but here's your chance to maybe get one in the air and maybe pick it.
First and 30 for Heineke. 246 yards passing, 21 300-yard games in his career. And there's another penalty flag, and it's on the top of your screen up there.
Number 74.
Like Nick England.
on the offense.
We've been bragging all day about the execution of this football team. They've had 3 straight penalties. Now, I don't care what kind of offense you are. This is first and all the way to Richmond right now.
First and 35 now. Mentioned the 21 300-yard games for Heineke. He once had a 730-yard game.
All-time record, right?
That is unbelievable.
I probably had that in my career.
To ice his arm down after that, huh? 730 yards in a game. There's the backup quarterback, Washington. That's his first catch as a receiver.
If they pick this one up, you know they got something going, because, I mean, when you start out on the 50 and you got to get to about the 24, you know, he had 26 yards to go, but good call on first down. Get about 6 or 7 of it. Try to get 10 here, and then maybe you can make it.
Washington, just another big target for Heineke at 6'3", 204. Heineke wants to go deep, and this one, Breon Key, is going to pick it off. Heineke had 8 INTs last year. That's his first here in 2014.
You know, the thing we saw right there was, for the first time probably this half, down and distance definitely in the favor of the Pirate defense. They bring enough pressure. They had a 6-man pressure there, played man coverage, and really good job of breaking on the ball. And the big turnover there. I mean, most teams, it won't hurt you that much to throw an interception there, because the ball's inside the 15 there, and you had 2nd and 20 on about the 35. So it's just like a punt, but at the same time, it's got to help the Pirate defense to get a stop.
Well, Kenny Phillips wasn't sure if Breon Key was ready to go, but because of injuries, Key, very athletic basketball player, gets his first pick. Nice pass, nice catch, and again, it's number 11, Rashad Riddick.
Riddick is just a ball player. I mean, if he can continue to keep from getting cramps, like every time he catches the ball, he gets a cramp, and I know how tough that is, because he's had an outstanding game, but really got that naked bootleg down. JJ's got a good feel for the fake. He comes out of the fake and really gets his shoulder square and hits the secondary receiver coming across the middle. So they've hit that about 5 times a day, and Riddick has been the recipient of most of them.
I think it's Riddick down, and the way they were attending it looks like another cramp. And you mentioned his big day. That was his 8th catch. He's got 94 yards now. And there's the quarterback, J.J. Williamson, also having a pretty decent opener, despite the fact that they're down by 20.
Well, he's done his job. This offensive team going into the day, you knew you're going to have to score some points against a really good Old Dominion team who's very prolific in their offensive output. But overall, I'd say, except for the 1 turnover he had, you know, he's done a terrific job. And, you know, he kind of distanced himself probably from the other kid, even though they said they were pretty close to each other. We expected to see Brian a little bit today, but it doesn't look like we will.
You know, Bailey last year hit 56% of his passes, while Williamson was only at 53. But Williamson looked very, very poised. And Connell Maynard saying that he probably had a little bit better grasp of the offense. And, of course, Maynard bringing in a brand-new offense. So both quarterbacks running a different offense than they did a year ago. So Maynard brought in to turn this football program around at Hampton. And we mentioned earlier, you mentioned Andrew Everett, one of the captains here, the stud linebacker. I said, what's the chance? This is your only FCS game of the year. What's the chance you're going to overlook Hampton? And he said, not at all, because they're just across the river. And if they don't want to come in here, if we're not the guys they want to beat the most, then they don't want to beat anyone.
Well, they've certainly done a good job of being very competitive today, that's for sure.
Trying to set up some kind of screen, and good pressure by the Monarchs, and Williamson could do nothing more than just get rid of the football.
Well, here's a situation here where they're trying to set up the screen, and the linemen are just going to let them come inside and then try to go to a middle screen, and he just didn't find anybody that was open. Johnson was covered up by the nose guard. Really good job of reading that, and that's a well-coached defensive line. You feel that pressure, and then they let you go. More than likely, they're either running a quick pass or a screen.
Yeah, Malik Gums had to figure it had to be a screen, because he got in there practically untouched. 2nd and 10 at the 34. Two-back offense, but Williamson comes back and fires down the middle. Had his receiver at the 47, 48-yard line, but it was dropped. That's the big tight end, Saquon Gooding, Jr. out of Oscar Smith High School.
Well, that's where they miss Riddick right there. I mean, that's the position that he's been doing a good job against this Monarch defense over the middle. And when you touch a ball, you ought to catch it. That's the way I always tried to coach. So he'll come back and get the next one, but you got to turn and get your body in position and catch that ball.
Third down again for the Pirates. Inside a minute here, quarter number 3. 5 receivers, trips to the near side. Williamson, he's going down. Gets rid of the football. It's a loose ball. And Williamson feeling a lot of pressure. Looked like Gary Scruggs, number 90, was in there very quickly.
A lot of inside pressure, and Williamson spins out. Good job by Scruggs and knocks the ball out. And excellent job of making a good turnaround. One turnover, you tell your defense, you know, sudden change, go out there and make something happen, and that Coach Wilder and Coach Nagy can coach up from that. The fact that they did have a turnover, but they got one right back. Now they're in great field position here on the 38-yard line.
So Heineke back on the field after throwing his first INT of the season on the last possession. Little pump fake, and he goes upstairs far side. That was number 4, Vincent Lowe, the true freshman, as the intended receiver. Bobby Wilder said he might be the fastest guy on the team.
Yeah, he's a really quick guy, and good adjustment by Coach Phillips. In the first half, we saw the pump and go, and they bid on it. This time, they had a safety over the top and was all over it. Really good job of adjusting by the Pirate defensive coordinator.
Clock stops, 46 seconds to go, the third quarter, 2nd and 10. Heineke comes back the other way. Pascal inside the 35 down to about the 32.
You know, I like the fact that no matter what they do defensively, Heineke's ready to go with it. He got a little heat. He jumped it off and put him in position to make a manageable third down here.
First down, 20-yard line. Monarchs on the move again. It's going to be the final play of the third quarter. Three quarters in the books. They turn around. They're heading down to the other side of the field. 15 minutes to go as we take a look at the fountains here on campus here at Old Dominion. 41-21. Monarchs in the lead.
Koch Industries started in the heartland, and we've expanded to nearly every state. Today,
back at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, as we head into the final quarter of the 2014 opener, 41-21. Monarchs on the move. Heineke still on the field. And Coach Donnan, they're up to 402 yards offense, considering a very, very, I don't want to say sluggish first half. They didn't have that many possessions in the first half, but they had an explosive third quarter. Heineke comes down, fires, and looking for number 4. That's Vincent Lowe. He throws it out of bounds.
You talk about the first quarter compared to the third quarter. We saw the time of possession very much in favor of Hampton. In that quarter there, only 10 total offensive plays for Hampton. So they have a hard time scoring when they don't have the ball. They did get the one long march, but overall, certainly we've seen pretty good control of the game by the Monarchs here in the third quarter.
Johnson breaks to the outside. And he's hit at the 20-yard line. He had 98 yards before that carry. So college football on American Sports Network is brought to you by Koch Industries. Along with Jim Donna, Mike Gleason here. Great to have you with us on the American Sports Network. As Old Dominion sails into Conference USA. Right at the door of the red zone now. Ball resting on the 20-yard line, but it's 3rd and 8 for Heineke and company. Heineke steps up, dumps it off to Boyd. Boyd is down to the 15. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Well, 13:56 to go. Do we see the field goal team here, or they go for it?
Well, you don't know if the field goal guys, had the cramp. You don't know if he's ready or not, but this is an easy play for them normally, but I guarantee you they've done a really good job of making them earn every yard here this drive. They're doing a good job of 3-man rush.
4th down pass, and this one's going to be picked off, the second by Breon Key. So the basketball player has 2 picks. And, Coach, in the 5 years, now 6, that's the 122nd time that Bobby Wilder has gone for it on 4th down. But it's another INT by Taylor Heineke and another pick there by number 6, Breon Key. Pirate ball, trailing by 20. Back in Norfolk, Virginia, 41-21. Taylor Heineke, 3 touchdown passes. He approaches 300 yards again, but when he goes back to his apartment tonight, Coach, he's going to be thinking over and over again about the 2 picks he's thrown.
Yeah, a good job of disguising the coverage. The underneath guy that kind of came up and then fell back underneath that and was a good catch. And that's why he's a basketball player. He's got 2 picks today. He'll probably be playing football from now on. Mixon
on the catch at the 15. Little juke. He's up over the 20-yard line. And it's going to be a 1st down for the Pirates. Looks like Hampton's down.
Yeah. Terrible feeling to be cramping up. We've talked about it before. And these running backs have been out here blocking, catching the ball, running hard. Hampton caught a touchdown pass, and I'm taking official time out here. But really good job of moving the pocket. That's been their most successful stuff, either the bootlegs or the sprint out passes. They just can't handle the inside pressure when he drops back. So we're going to see a lot more of this as the game ends up here, a lot more sprint outs and maybe a few more screens.
That was the 35th attempt for Williamson. He's 23 of 35 now. It's up over 220 yards passing. Here comes some pressure from the secondary. And Riddick with the catch. And he had 94 yards before that catch, so he's flirting with a 100-yard receiving game.
We're going to start calling Riddick the cat. He's got 9 lives. He's been off the field about 4 times today, and he comes back. He's very competitive, and he continues to catch the football on some tough, difficult type routes. And, that's a money play for him to get 5 yards on a really tough catch.
Washington on the screen. He's off to the races. Washington, nice juke. 30, 20, 10, touchdown, Washington. $75 yards. And the Pirates aren't finished yet with 12:36 to go. It's 41-27 with the extra point to come.
Talked all day about this kid in open space. He returns kicks. He catches the ball. He runs inside tough. And once he got some grass ahead of him on this turf field, it was all over. His Katie barred the door. And tremendous answer again to a big stop by the Pirate defense. And, more than likely, we're going to see the Monarchs win this game. But I guarantee you Hampton's made a statement here in the Tidewater area, the fact that they're going to have a football program under Connell Maynard. He's done a heck of a job getting his team ready to play.
Another quick strike for the Pirates, Coach. They're taking a page out of the book from the Monarchs.
At the forefront of education stands a small school with a big story. One of pioneers, leaders, and entrepreneurs of Oscars, Pulitzers, and Nobel Prizes.
41-28 now, still 12:36 to go in the ball game. It's been a offensive outburst by both these teams. As a matter of fact, talk about Taylor Heineke with his 21 300-yard games. J.J. Williamson just went over 300. He has 307 yards, which obviously is a career high, this being his sophomore season. So Williamson's the first to hit the 300-yard mark here today.
Well, he's answered a challenge here and made a statement in his conference, in fact, that this team's going to be very competitive. Their defense has given up a lot of points, but a couple of them were turnover laden. But the second half, they come out and rushed 3 and dropped 8, created 2 turnovers, and you can't ask much more than that. And watch out, an onside kick here.
Well, it's a short one, and it's a free ball. I saw Breon Key, the basketball player. Looks like the Pirates have it at about the 35-yard line. Boy, the Monarchs did not cover that very well, Coach.
Very good job of being aggressive, and we talked about Prevost being an accurate kicker. He did a really good job of running the pooch punt. A very soft spot in the defense, as you can see from this wide shot. They don't really have a guy there to catch the ball. It takes a reverse bounce there, and they come up and scrap for the ball. And, boy, they got a lot of juice right now. We're going to see if this defense can make something happen, because right now we were talking about this game might be close to being over. Hey, they get a score here, there's going to be a lot of tight people in the stadium here. Very well conceived pooch kickoff there by the Pirates.
Twice, even during the replay, I couldn't see.
It's a halfback pass.
Mixon, he's going to go down, though. Chased down by the middle linebacker. Nice job by DJ Simon.
It's my bad calling the play. You're the play-by-play guy, but it looked so good that I thought he was going to have it. But really good job of Simon. He continues to get in the other team's backfield. Boy, that was a huge defensive stop right there. We talked about answering the challenge after a turnover, the same thing on an onside kick. And let's see if they go to Riddick down the seam here out of this empty formation, because he's definitely uncovered at this point.
Trips to the top of your screen, 5 wideouts after the loss. It's 2nd and 16 at the 41. Williamson thought about it. Good coverage downfield. Comes back, throws it underneath. And it's at the 31. Again, it's number 11. That's Rashad Riddick.
Riddick continues. I think that's close to 10 for him now, and he continues to work with the quarterback. Williamson gets flushed out of the pocket, throws it up top, and Riddick gets up there and makes a great grab.
True sophomore. He's over 100 yards receiving on the afternoon. 108 now for Riddick with 11:10 to go. Williamson keeps it himself, and he's down near the 20-yard line. Another first down for the Pirates. And, boy, Big Mo has shifted, and they got some juices flowing right now, Coach.
Let me tell you something. That play right there was well conceived. It wasn't really a quarterback draw. It was kind of a quarterback counter. He looked like he was going to throw. Instead of running up to the gut, he ran to the outside there and picked up the first down. I mean, they've got a complete playbook, and they're opening up every page of it today.
Pocket collapse, and he's going down. Looked like Malik Gums just bumped him, but he'll get the credit for the sack.
That's the one thing that Williamson, JJ's got to learn how to do, is get rid of it. Don't hold it so long, because, you know, even though the line blocked pretty good, when you can get to a quarterback with a 3-man rush like that, he's got to learn how to, kind of like Heineke has done today, just dump it off. And now you're in a 2nd and long, and, you know, hey, 2nd and 10's okay. 2nd and 22 is definitely not where you want to be.
I stand corrected. It was Preston Smith putting the pressure on that time, and this is Mixon. Little screen over the middle, and Mixon's down inside the 20-yard line. First down marker is down at the 12, close to the 13. 9:55 and counting. 41-28. Pirates are on the move.
Another way to stop and slow down the rush is run the middle screen, and Coach Maynard's got that one in his repertoire too. We got Riddick on the backside one-on-one, and let's see if they work to him into the boundary.
3rd and 6, but this might be 4-down territory now with 9.5 minutes to go. Williamson steps up in the pocket, has his man inside the 10. It's 1st down, and again it's Riddick.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist. When the guy's caught 11 or 12 balls a day, you're going to go to him. And all he did was just find the soft spot of the defense. JJ squared his shoulders up and ran right at him, just like you tell your quarterbacks to do in camp, and made the big 1st down. Their 3rd down efficiency today has been out of sight. They just continue to make big plays and test this Monarch defense.
1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Riddick now 11 catches, 119 yards. Williamson weaves his way through traffic, stumbles at about the 10, so he's tripped up. And it'll be 2nd and goal.
Puts a lot of pressure on your defense when your quarterback's as mobile as he is. You got everybody spread out with 5 wide receivers, and you're trying to get to him, and he finds the open area. Pretty good position. Down here before, they've thrown the inside breaking route to either the 3rd man to the inside or the Riddick on the weak side. Let's see if they go over the middle with it.
Wow. That was a roll of thunder by Richie Staten, the 6'1", 230-pound sophomore from Hampton. But he got in there quickly.
That was impressive right there. Just the fact that he was able to shoot the gap and make a big play.
And the defense steps up. Just about to
stand watch for who's next.
Richie Staten coming up with the big defensive play, and I'm not going to lie to our audience, Coach. I didn't realize that he caused the fumble as well.
Well, it was close. I thought he had taken it away, but he did a good play. Here comes a home run ball.
Looking for Antonio Vaughn. Let's take a look at it now. I was so caught up on how quickly he got in on the quarterback, but when we went to break, I realized he fumbled the football. 41 is Staten. Yeah, there's the ball is loose, and he just kind of scooped it up. Beautiful play. Good wherewithal, because he had to be excited because he's getting the hit. Exactly. He must have felt the ball on his hip. After the long incompletion, it's 2nd and 10 now. 8:17 to go. Vincent Lowe, the true freshman, on the receiving end of that pass.
You know, for the first time today, we're seeing Taylor Heineke operate in the no-back look. They don't have Johnson in the game. They bring Johnson in on 3rd and short, but 2 successive plays there to try to influence the coverage a little bit with no backs in the backfield.
Last year, Monarchs go 8-4. Bobby Wilder said last year they knew they weren't heading for the FCS playoffs. Can't go to a bowl game. It was almost like a 12-game audition. Johnson at way over 100 yards now as well. He picks up the 1st down. They're going to move the chains. He's been running hard all afternoon. Connell Maynard, knowing that the clock is not his friend right now. After the fumble, if they score there, it's 41-35. I should say before the fumble. Heineke. He's gone all afternoon, and he finally gets rid of it. Looks like number 8, Miles Grooms, might be talking to one of the officials saying, hey, we've got to be, we're being held because nobody has that much time throwing the football.
Well, they're having a hard time after rushing the passer for all day long. They got to be a little bit tired. We hadn't said a lot about Miles Grooms. He's an excellent pass rusher, and he's a good football player, but they've double covered him, have 2 guys on him protecting all day, so he's had a hard time getting to Heineke.
Yeah, Grooms, a junior, as a sophomore, 1st team All-MEAC. Johnson again, and he's swarmed under at the 23. So with all these freshmen in this Hampton defense, Kenny Phillips saying we just can't mess up the coverages, avoid missed tackles and missed assignments. It felt like they had a pretty good scheme coming in, and even though there's 41 points on the board, there are some bright spots with that defense for.
Yeah, a couple turnovers hurt them on field position, and they gave up one really long pass, but they've made them work for everything.
3rd and 11. Heineke feeling pressure this time. Avoids it, keeps it himself, and it's going to bring up a rare punting situation for Old Dominion.
I like the mix up here. They've been coming with a 3-man rush. All of a sudden, they come with 5. They get enough vertical pressure to flush him out of the pocket, and then a good open field move by the defense to get him down.
Heineke with the punt with the left foot, rolls out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. So even though he bobbled the snap, a pretty good punt by Taylor Heineke.
I didn't realize he was a punter, too.
6:15 to go. Pirates have the football, trailing 41-28 when we come back.
The decisions you make today will guide your tomorrows. Taking pride in your work, knowing the true meaning of tradition, and understanding value comes in many ways. Being close to home, but not too close. Blazing your trail with the help of others. Knowing what you seek is within your reach. We make decisions every day. We are Marshall University, your best decision ever.
What brought me to ODU was the fact that ODU is a research university. You get to work with a wide range of individuals, and that's something that I really relish about Old Dominion University. You have all these different activities on campus. You have many different opportunities to develop social bonds and to have different experiences. It's amazing to create something new and beneficial and revolutionary. That's Idea Fusion at Old Dominion University.
Bobby Wilder, the head coach of Old Dominion, says when you play for him, you can be one of two things, either accountable or an excuse maker. But right now, the defense will have to be accountable right now, trying to protect this 41-28 lead with 6:15 to go. Williamson goes back to work. Washington has some running room. He's got a lane up over the 40, up to the 41.
Washington's one of those guys, whether you're home team or away team, when he gets the ball in the open field, everybody stands up because he's electric. He can make things happen, and you're really kind of perplexed here as a defensive signal caller where you want to just kind of lay off a little bit and make them earn it, knowing you got a 2-score lead, or whether to really get after them and take a chance. And if you do that, then you got one-on-one coverage, they might break a big one. So I think they're going to make them earn everything and kind of play soft and bend and don't break defense here this last 6 minutes.
Over the middle, it's Mixon. Mixon got some running room. He's inside the 45-yard line. So Riddick has 119 yards receiving, and Mixon before that play had 75. So they're getting close to having 2 100-yard receivers in this game.
You know, we've been talking about the protection that Heineke's had, but overall, you got to give this young Hampton line a lot of credit too, because they've given up a few sacks, but for the most part, their execution on screens and the routine plays has been pretty good today. So give them a little love.
Set up another screen against Washington. Nice job keeping his balance, puts his head down. He's close to the 31-yard line before he's driven out of bounds. And he's going to be close to another first down for the Pirates.
Great equalizer, screens and draws to slow down the rush. And we've seen 4 successive different types of screens here on this drive to the 2 different receivers, but they've thrown the inside screen, they've thrown the slow screen, they faked the slow screen and hit the ball over the middle to Mixon. I mean, they got a really good idea of what they want to do offensively. It's a great chance for a waste down here. 2nd 1, he might go deep.
Washington breaks to the outside, and he's brought down by Isaiah Worthy, the true freshman linebacker.
One thing you tell your play caller, and certainly in this case the head coach is the play caller, you can't win the game on this drive, but you need to get a sense of urgency here because you're going to have to score twice to win the game. They came in with the idea nobody gave them much of a chance to win this game. It's still in their hands here. They got a shot. You're going to have to make a big play here, though, because 4 minutes to go is going to be tough.
On that note, do you think they're taking too much time here with the play call?
Definitely.
Williamson, plenty of time, fires downfield, and this one's knocked away at the last second. Eric Lewis, the 5th-year senior, making a big defensive play.
Really good job of Eric Lewis breaking on the ball. Play action pass, run up inside, then step into the throw. He didn't get quite enough on it, and really good job of breaking on the ball by Lewis and taking care of a jump ball situation by keeping his inside arm free and really get some elevation there.
Well, Coach, if he catches that one, I thought we had another Penn State Central Florida game on our hands here.
Yeah, on this side of the Atlantic. Right. No volcanoes around here.
Washington bounces off the would-be tackler. Very quickly, Chris Smith, the nose tackle, bounced through. But Washington doing a nice job of avoiding being tackled. Inside 4 minutes now. Clock is running.
Don't you like the competitiveness of Washington? The fact that, he got it going with that long run. But overall, I mean, this guy two great kickoff returns in this half. A long touchdown pass. Continues to catch the ball out of the backfield. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't heat him up a little bit here this time. Bring a little bit of 6-man pressure because they got to get after him a little bit.
3rd and 9. Williamson over the middle. It's caught inside the 5-yard line. That's Rayshawn Proctor.
Try not to be too much of give him. I'm a cheerleader up here, but this guy has made the throws today, and what a great catch by Proctor, extending his arms. That's the only place he could have thrown the ball for Proctor to catch it. And let's see if they can punch it in here and maybe go for an onside kick.
Carter, the freshman, he is swarmed under. Lewis was there, along with the freshman Isaiah Worthy.
Worthy gets penetration. One thing you always tell your line on the offensive line when you get close to the goal line, take short splits and don't let people come in the gaps. You know they're going to pinch. You're going to try to penetrate. They're going to take chances, and that's a big loss on 1st down. Plus, it hurts them from the time perspective. Watch them throwing to Hampton in the flat here.
Big tight end back in the backfield again. Carter dropped the ball. It bounced off his shoulder pad. The loose ball is picked up. It looks like the Monarchs. About 2:25 to go when he fumbled the ball in Old Dominion. No call from the official as of yet. Looks like it's going to be the Monarch ball, Coach.
I hope we get a good shot of this because it's a great example of not looking the ball in on the catch. He tried to catch the ball with his pads. Anytime you're a running back, we ran the option at Oklahoma. One thing we always said, be alert for the quick pitch. Get your hands up and don't catch it with your pads. He caught the ball. It bounced off his pads. The quarterback's got to execute. He threw it a little hard, but, that's a routine play there. Catch it with your hands and not your pads.
Tough break for Carter, a true freshman out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And that might be game, set, match right there for the Monarchs of Old Dominion.
2 successive plays inside the 5 that the defense, you can say what you want to, giving up 28 points, but tremendous defense on the goal line to keep them out of the end zone.
Try to run the clock out now. Not much running room there against that Pirate defense. 2:15.
Being the competitor Maynard is, I think he'll call some timeouts.
2 minutes and 9 seconds to go here in the ball game. Season opener for both schools. And the Pirates call the timeout. Let's go back and take a look now at J.J. Williamson and Taylor Heineke. Williamson, the first to go over 300 yards.
Well, both of them had really big days. Williamson, in the case of the long pass that really amplified his, but 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He had the 1 fumble, but 32 out of 45 is outstanding. Heineke, just a routine day for him. 3 touchdowns, but he's had 2 interceptions. One of them was a great play by the defensive back, just jumping up from behind and getting the ball. But overall, just a routine day for Heineke. And I think he can coach off this and understand that you're going to play against a really good team next week that's going to probably rush the passer a lot harder than what we saw from Hampton today. They played a 3-man rush throughout the game and made them earn everything.
You hit the nail on the head again. Talk about the operative word. You said a routine day. 28 completions. Last year he averaged 27.9. So he's right there.
Coach Phillips did a good job of making them earn it, though. They didn't get a lot of big plays, and, you know, they're going to air it out here.
Vaughn, he's got it at the 23. Clock stops with 2:03 to go. Well, the Pirates had a couple of opportunities there to make it 41-35.
Twice inside the 10.
And this could have been a whole different ball game. So as we mentioned, in the MEAC this year, Bethune-Cookman is picked to finish first, South Carolina State second, North Carolina A&T third. But this Hampton team, if they take the good things from this ball game and build on them, they could surprise some people this fall. 90 seconds to go in the game. Johnson. Over the 35, enjoying his third 100-yard rushing game of his career.
I'll tell you one thing, we picked a good game to start out with American Sports Network. I promise you, a lot of excitement, well played, well coached. It's going to be typical of Conference USA this year to have these kind of shootouts because you got so many good quarterbacks. But also we're going to see what happens, and we'll keep tabs on this Hampton team because I guarantee you they got a lot of potential.
So Heineke on a pace to finish among college football's top 5 passers all time, regardless of division. But the W, that's all he cares about. Telling us yesterday, he doesn't care if he throws for 97 yards as long as they get the win. And they want to prove that they belong in Conference USA.
You know what Coach Maynard's doing right here? He's signaling to his football team that we only got 43 seconds, but I'm going to use every timeout. I'm going to make them earn it. You guys have fought your guts out, and I'm doing the same thing. The guy's only lost 6 games as a head coach. He knows how to win. I was really impressed with their execution on both sides of the ball. And conversely, this Monarch team, you know, let's face it, it's tough to get up every week. They got a big game next week. I'm not taking anything away from their effort, but, you know, realistically, you know, you score 41 points, you've had a pretty good day. But overall, a well-played game, a well-officiated game. I guarantee you, these deep officials that had to run as much as the wide receivers today on all these pass routes, they're going to be ready for some Gatorade after the game or something else. Maybe one of their favorite beverages, but they've done a good job.
Which would be from the Coke Industries, right?
Exactly.
Johnson again. Inside 40 seconds, clock running down to 35. 36, actually, it stops. So Old Dominion will go to 1-0. But this is their final FCS team. I like what Rich Nagy said. We could get better defensively, but it might not show up in the win and loss record because we're going to be playing better people this year.
Well, what they did, they created turnovers when they really needed them today. They got the 2 on the goal line. They got the interception that set up the big play from Heineke in the second quarter. And, you know, you build from your first tape. You usually most improvements from the first game to the second game. Hey, Glees, good to be with you. I appreciate all the guys in the truck. You know, I'm like MacArthur. I just keep coming back.
Great to have you here, Coach. Hall of Fame coach Jim Donnan You never answered that. Oh, quickly. We got about 15 seconds. Who's your best quarterback, Marshall or Georgia?
We had 3 all-conference All-Americans at Marshall, and they all were good, including my son. My wife would like for me to